Oh my goodness.
Oh, we got a comment already. Are we cleared for takeoff yet? Thank you, Richard.
Yes. Emily, from what I've seen so far,
They're both on the same channel. I didn't notice that.
a chocolate cake.
Which one?
They're both are tripod heads.
Oh, shoot. It's moving.
Halloween colored sprinkles. Yep. Yes, a spooky season donut. And I'm a fan of chocolate cake donuts.
Oh, buddy.
They are heavy, but they're not feeling as weighed down. I don't know.
It's a donut. There's no coming back from it. What's it? Whether it's a cake one or a fluffier one or an old fashioned or a buttermilk bar, it's a donut. Like you're in. But that's the one I would have picked. She picked the one I would have picked. You went just more traditional.
Yeah, I'm more. That's kind of, and I'm open to all of them. It just, if the more variety that I have, the more I'm probably going to go with just a classic glazed donut. That's what I ended up going with. Here's my question to you. Jorge had a donut. I had a donut. You had two already?
No. I said you're right. Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I saw two up there.
No,
I thought
you
you were like, yeah.
No, relax. Three.
I had,
Easy.
I had two, Al. I had two. Emily's in the process of having a donut.
Yeah.
Greg just came in and said, "Oh, I don't want one." And then now
he
he's
immediately went
he's
to
showing
get
me
one.
one through the.
Parker had a maple bar.
Parker's got. You did not go in for one.
I have not.
Regular chocolate donut.
Yeah, that's a good one.
right
You did not go for one.
No.
As the show progresses, and there, like I said, there's 24 that are there, and maybe 12 left, whatever it is. A lot of variety in there as well. At some point, because what you like to usually do as the show progresses is you grab a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Cup of coffee and a donut. Jorge, I don't think you and I need to talk about that
No, we
combination.
don't.
It might be
It's good.
one of the greatest 1-2 punches
Sure.
I've ever seen.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
It's Kobe Shaq.
Shrek and Donkey.
It's Shrek and Donkey. Yeah,
Shrek and
it's
Donkey.
peanut butter and jelly. It's a
Peanut
great
butter and
choice.
jelly.
It's a
Yep.
great choice.
Jordan and Pippen. All right, we keep going, okay? At any point, will you go in and say, because about, I think 3-4 days ago, you came in very aggressively eating a donut. Whether
Yeah,
it was
I did that
Friday
day.
or whatever, and you're like, you know what, this isn't good for me, but I'm going to have it anyways. And it was like very
I
aggressive,
think
right?
I had more than one.
I think he had more than one, and he had a sandwich. There was a lot going on. I'm like, is Trav okay?
That's what I thought this morning when I went, hey, Trav, donuts. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Sorry,
There's a
bro.
little, I know.
Perdóname.
I've seen him. Al's got one across the table.
Yeah.
11-ish, 11:30, you go in for that cup of coffee, a little bit of a donut.
I think if I can avoid the immediate impulse to stick my face in the box, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't even bother to go to that side of the room. Like, I'm staying out of there. Like, I saw Emily's, and it was one of those, that looks pretty good.
Should we bring him in here?
And then you were having one, and see, Jorge's timing was bad. So he came in, like, he was the last one, like, hey, they're done. I'm like, I know, man. Just it's like you guys are all dealers, like trying to, hey, look, Trav, there's sweets, there's donuts.
I'm pretty good at, if I want
I
to
want my lemons back.
if I want to
Too late.
churn something down, I'm pretty good at, like, nah, I'm good. I don't know what was going on this morning. Maybe it's because Stephanie like displayed it during the show or when we were doing our prep.
Like, hey, donuts.
I'm gonna need one of those, especially.
You could hear the angels sing when she opened the box. Like,
Just goes with the coffee.
No, it's good.
Yes,
I
gross.
look, I'm okay as long as I don't start. Right? I have two gears.
Parker, bring the box over here.
I have two gears. None I'm perfectly fine with, or all of them. Those are it's like having a drink. One drink isn't that interesting to me. 6 is. Right? Like 0 drinks, I'm fine. I can have
save the
0
calories.
drinks, right?
of the
I'm
one
either
drink.
going to do it or I'm not going to do it. I do not have like a dimmer switch on my impulses. Right?
The light is on.
I am
like
just
that one.
off and on.
Or the
I'm
light is off.
The
Yeah.
light is off, which I think I'm good with today.
It's completely
Or it's
dark,
on.
or it's as lit up as can
On
possibly be.
Saturday, when you guys came over, the switch was on.
It was beyond on. Stadium lighting.
It was stadium lighting.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but you're at
So-
And
home,
then
so
the
it's
Rams
good.
game the next day, it was off.
It was off, right? It was completely off. I do not have a dimmer switch. It's
All
just
right, well,
off
if
and on.
something changes.
But speaking of drinks and lemons and stuff, I had the best espresso martini I've ever had here. And it was like very smooth, very rich, but it had a lemon slice in it. And it was absolutely amazing.
Do you not like when you get an espresso where they do a little lemon peel in there?
I don't usually, but this one was just so good because the place did it so well. It's called the Capri Club in
Okay.
Eagle Rock. Highly recommend. It's a newer restaurant too, or a newer bar, but very cool place.
That, like a classic Italian espresso, right?
Yeah.
And with the little lemon peel on the side, that's hard to beat.
Yeah.
So refreshing.
Yeah, it's just really, that's one of the few times I do like a little bit of that fruitier note in the coffee when it's the espresso. Good news for you, Slee.
Okay.
So I had a little bit of a late start today coming into work.
I did too. I had a little bit of late
Yeah,
start,
so
too.
I did not have to do my podcast, Locked on Rams. There is a YouTube component that you can check
wow.
out. Yeah. So today I didn't have to do it. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sleep in a little bit. So I
Okay.
slept in like an extra hour, which is, it's
Very nice.
It's nice. It was good.
Yep.
I enjoyed the extra hour of rack time. And I'm thinking, all right, so it's going to take me, obviously my commute gets a little longer the later into the day it goes. And it wasn't terrible. It was still pretty good. I usually get here around 7:15. Today I got here about 8:30. My parking spot on P1 that I always park in right by the exit, still there.
Oh, okay.
Still there. So because I texted Emily, I said, hey, I'm going to be a little bit later than I usually am, just so she knew I didn't die on the freeway or something. I said, hey, I'll be there about 8:30.
Yeah.
And she texts me back, okay, maybe you'll have to check out P2 today. And so I pulled in to
Yeah.
P1 saying,
Yeah.
we'll see if I get lucky. Bam. And it wasn't the only one left. There were multiple options.
At 8:30, which is
At
when you
8:30.
have been arriving
Okay, so
recently.
Jorge and I are in the process of collecting data. So
Because you always go down to P2, which makes no sense to me and Em.
it made more sense, let's just say in the 9 a.m. hour, but I haven't tried P2. I haven't tried P1 since I've been coming in the 8 a.m. hour.
Okay.
And if you're telling me that it's wide open, and you get a good spot because it's right next to
You know where I park.
I know exactly where you park.
And it was right there.
Jorge, this might just be principle now. I might just be staying in P2.
You're going to ask him to dig a P3 to go down deeper. Like, can we excavate?
I got
Okay,
a good spot
so-
too. I have to get him down there to just see what's happening in P2.
So when you're coming down the ramp, there's like a curtain, like a metal
Yes.
curtain. That's the parking for the Marriott, the JW.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was leaving one day and it was
was
open.
open?
That gate was open, and I
Yep.
was like, dude, there's cars in there, like all kinds of like dope cars in there.
Oh, I
was
bet
I
that's a
think
nice
that's
place.
I think that's for residency.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those that are living in a JW Marriott
Ritz-Carlton.
Oh, nice.
or Ritz-Carlton. Yeah, Ritz-Carlton. And it's like whatever floor and above is the residencies.
Right.
They got a
So
parking
we're all
spot.
connected
that
to
is
somehow. Like
included.
all these, I'm pretty sure we're connected even to that side.
Yeah, we are.
I'm sure.
Yeah, somehow,
Yeah.
somewhere there's a connection down there. So
You guys should see if you can get a spot over there, and then you
Yeah,
can walk
right.
even further.
I do miss that walk sometimes, don't you?
I didn't hate. The only time was
It was when it was
the way the
raining
building
and-
it's like a wind tunnel
Oh,
that
yeah.
goes right down there that you are going to get on the
No, it's a
handful of
tornado,
days that it
literally.
rains. You're going to get soaked to the skin coming in. I don't
Umbrella
care
would
what
go
you have.
inside out and, yeah, the whole
unless you have
thing.
one of those Mary Poppins industrial ones that doesn't turn inside out, you're getting it flipped inside
you
out.
guys have like all that crazy fog this morning.
A little bit.
I could barely see in front of me. We don't have it very much in LA, but it was crazy.
We get it by my house fairly regularly.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
by the beach.
yeah.
I don't have oceanside view. Sorry.
get-
You know who you're talking to here? This
It's
is
called the marine layer,
the
people.
weather in that area is a little bit different than the weather inland.
It's
yeah,
a
we don't really get
marine
marine
layer by the
layer
coast.
in downtown LA.
It starts with marine layer with Travis, becomes fog with us.
That's
over
right.
here.
When it's on the other side of the freeway, it's fog. At my house, it's the marine layer.
That much marine layer in Pasadena on my way in.
No,
No, they're not going to get it.
No.
They're not going to get it.
Anyway, you got to check out P1 along the way.
I'll check
I
out
think-
P1.
I
You
think
go
we're in
grab
pretty
a
good
donut.
spot. I think we're in a pretty good spot. You're driving out to Palm Springs today?
Yeah, going right after. It's kind of a unique game. There was an article, Lakers.com put it out, and they're interviewing Michael about back in the days. In the 80s and the 90s, I guess early 90s, Lakers used to have training camp out in Palm Springs.
Right.
So they have it. I don't know the last time they've played out there, but I know they built a new arena late 2022, and it's about 10, 11,000 seats. The place is sold out. Kind of a cool – they're playing the Phoenix Suns, so it's going to be KD, it's going to be Booker, it's going to be Bradley Beal. I think it's going to be – it's unique. It's preseason, but it's as interesting as it could be for a preseason.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's as interesting as it can be for a game that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Which is not at all. So it's on a scale of 1 to 10, instead of being a 0, which every preseason football game is, which every spring training baseball game is, which every non-Palm Springs preseason basketball game is a 0, this is a 0 as well. Because it doesn't matter. Only bad things can happen, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
And they're probably going to, because it's the last preseason game.
Yeah.
They'll probably play everybody. Probably play everybody for the first couple of quarters, maybe even the third quarter.
So it is a new $300+ million arena called Acrisure Arena. It's located in Palm Desert. It seats about 11,000 people. If you spent any time out in the desert, are you familiar with the geography of the Coachella Valley?
No, I'm not.
Palm Springs is the first thing you hit on your way in.
Okay.
Palm Desert is one of the last things you hit on the way out before you start to go into the desert towards Phoenix. So Palm Springs and Palm Desert are like 40 minutes apart from one another.
Oh, really?
I'm
far
just
apart?
making sure you understand the drive that you have coming.
Put it in Waze already.
Okay.
I think we got, 2 hours and some change. Thing is, I'm lucky that when our
By the
show
way,
ends.
A lot of change. Your Zoom is on again.
I think John was saying that. Yesterday. John was talking about that. He's like, yeah, if I left right after your show, I'm getting there in 2.
Yeah.
If I leave when their show's done, he was getting there in 3.5
The change is the thing. You're going to say, hey, welcome to Palm Springs. You'll be like, I'm almost there. You got almost an hour to go.
Yeah, once you hit the Morongo, it's on. From there,
It's-
expect nothing else.
All the way
all
to
the
the
way through.
end until you're like, I think I'm almost in Phoenix. And
Yeah.
then you're in Palm Springs. Or Palm Desert, excuse me. Palm Springs is the far west end. Anyway, leave plenty of time.
I'm taking 6 donuts with me just to make sure I have
Pack
enough
a bag.
fuel.
Are you
the whole
staying
way.
out there?
Won't stay there.
Okay.
No, I'll come back.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about it starting at 10 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. today?
Feels good. We're almost done, right? Is it the dump
Yeah.
next?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
The
This is
great
weird.
equalizer?
It's throwing me off now.
I don't know. Because you know what it was like yesterday?
Yeah.
It's like a good round of batting practice before the game starts. You get some good. You're barreling up the ball.
Yeah.
You're feeling pretty good. You're in there. You got a little sweat
You're nice
going.
and warm when the game starts.
Got the layup line going on.
Right.
Let's run a little 3-man weave.
Right. Just feeling good, and then just here we go. Here we go. All right. Caleb Williams is talking, which is usually a good thing. I'm not so sure it's a good thing here. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Need a replacement battery, they can help with that as well. They're the only place you can find proven tough Duralast batteries. So the next time you are having battery trouble, head to AutoZone, your battery solution, and America's #1 battery destination.
Hey guys, it's producer Lindsay Baseball, and guess what? Thursday Night Football has a brand new home, and it's the 909 Sports Bar at Yamava Resort and Casino. Join me and the 710 Fun Games Department every Thursday night for a party. I will be giving away $1,000 cash every Thursday night. So this Thursday from 4 to 7 at the 909 Sports Bar, win cash and watch football with me, producer Lindsay Baseball. Or maybe they should call me Lindsay Football. See you there.
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app. And bam!
Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
Sliwa.
Day has the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day? I don't
Great
know.
question. Travis and Sliwa. On 710 ESPN.
You guys buried the lead. So I went into the kitchen to get a little hot water because Jorge brought me some delicious lemons that I'm going to squeeze in there in a second. There's my favorite donut is probably just a classic old-fashioned, right?
Yep.
Where you can kind of break off those little pieces around the side. There's one of those in there, but it's covered in chocolate. It's a chocolate old-fashioned. I didn't even know that was allowed. I thought that seems like it's almost illegal. It's so decadent.
I'm going to put it to the side, just in case you change your decision.
I doubled back. I looked in the barcode. I'm like, wait, am I even seeing that? You know, sometimes you think you see something, you look at a second try, you're like, that's not what I saw. It's like my imagination was running wild.
Yeah, but that tells me somebody that has an incredible amount of interest of what's happening there. Because the fact that you even looked, you could have easily just gone.
It's like a traffic accident. You got to at least peek and see what's going on over there.
Your self-discipline there is kind of cracking. By the way, Tiffany, who's on the marketing side over there and is one of our marketing consultants, she sent me a text saying, "Oh, so you grabbed one of Stephanie's donuts, but you didn't grab one of mine when I brought them a few days ago."
I got some of Tiffany's donuts.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, Tiff, that's my bad. It was just I had a little more self-discipline
All
that
I
day.
hear is that you like Stephanie better than Tiffany. That's my takeaway from that is that you prefer Stephanie over Tiffany.
Well, apparently you had one of Tiffany's and you haven't grabbed one of Stephanie's.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I got to be careful.
What's going on with food in here? There's now we have 4 days a week where the place is just stockpiled with food.
We're the show that talks about food.
Look,
but I'm saying
we've
in
created
general,
an identity
general.
for our show. No,
Yeah.
you're right. It's how many Ikes did you have yesterday?
It's none of your business.
So that means some. I had one, maybe a second one. That's how that goes. Emily, there's breaking news out of the Big Ten.
Yeah, so this is what happened. So Michigan State is the next opponent for University of Michigan. And University of Michigan State was notified by the NCAA that Michigan has successfully stolen signs by opposing teams this season. That there's, quote-unquote, credible evidence in a vast network of sign stealing on the side of Michigan. So that not just the reason it says Michigan State is that they're the next opponents, but all the future opponents of Michigan have been notified that there's an investigation from the NCAA into Michigan.
I don't know if you've had a chance to read the whole thing yet or not. Do we know how they're allegedly doing it? Because to me, that matters a great deal. Because if they're just doing hand signals and they're bad enough for Michigan to decode, that's on the other guy.
Yep.
But if they're using...
If they have a camera that's coming in from center field,
that's different.
And you're hitting a trash can to get the 2-point conversion.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Here's the quote from the article that we have. This is from The Athletic. It says, the league claims that Michigan, as one source with knowledge of the allegation said, is using a quote-unquote vast network to steal opposing team signs. The league told Michigan State it has reviewed film that shows UM clearly knowing what play an opposing team is going to run before the play occurs. Nothing on this so far has reported that there is any sort of like video camera or buzzers like what the Astros had. So as of right now, I haven't seen anything like that.
This is the crazy thing about all that kind of stuff. That's been going on forever. Everybody's always looking for an advantage. Everybody's always looking to find something that if the quarterback always scratches his left cheek before they run the ball or whatever it is. And if you've got, it's like poker, right? If you've got to tell, that's your problem.
Yeah, that's not.
But if I'm using
that's not illegal.
A device to peek at your cards,
yeah.
And that's, I guess, where the
there are levels of sign stealing,
right.
And especially because of college. They're so on the sides doing all the motions and stuff like that it's a little more obvious than say the NFL. But who knows if this is going to come out more again? This is another thing on Michigan because of what already happened with the quote unquote self-imposed suspension by Harbaugh this year.
Yeah. So SC is going to the Big Ten next year, and now they may have to not only deal with a conference that is much more rugged. Usually, maybe not this year. Pac-12 is actually really, really good this year. Probably the best conference in all of college football.
Big Ten
arguably.
isn't like they have Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State are also really great.
Yeah, they do, but it's a different type of football that they're doing there. A type of football that SC, at least of recent history, does not do well with. Really physical sort of stuff. Traditionally, that actually was SC's secret weapon. When they were really good, they always had the best offensive linemen. They had NFL defensive linemen. They had NFL secondary guys. But anyway. They're getting ready to go into there next year. This year is getting ready to go one of two directions. And it's really interesting kind of where they sit right now, Slee.
Okay.
Because they only have one loss. but it was an ugly one, and it felt like we could all see it coming from a mile away. It was just a matter of time until they ran into a good team that beat them, and not only beat them by 4 touchdowns. If they take care of their business, not only is everything okay, they're in the Final Four. If they beat Oregon and Utah and Washington and UCLA and whoever they play in the Pac-12 championship game, which will be Oregon or Washington again, they're going to the college football playoff. I don't think anybody believes that that's likely to happen, but it's there for them. It's available. The other option is they play Utah this weekend. They could lose. They've got Oregon and Washington in back-to-back weeks coming up before too long. They could lose both of those. UCLA's defense is really legit. They could lose that game. They could finish up with a 5-loss season, which I don't think is likely, but possible. Mm-hmm. Now you have your best player of the Lincoln Riley era, Caleb Williams, is leaving.
Yep.
You didn't have anything really to show for it. Heisman Trophy is something. I shouldn't put it like that. But you didn't have a team award really to show of it. And now you're going into a conference, and the 2 best other teams in the conference are going with you to join Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State and all these other teams. What do you have if it goes as bad as it might?
So I was looking at this, and I think that all year long we've looked at USC a certain way. All year long we've sat back and it's like, geez, that's a lot closer of a game than I thought it was supposed to be. Wow, they need to. It's a 1-score game against Colorado when they had the lead that they did.
Right.
And I'm just kind of the reason why I'm walking you through is the Arizona game. Wow, they should have lost that game. That's not one of those. They should have actually lost that game, and they were 21-point favorites. The moment they finally face a good opponent was Notre Dame. They get housed.
They got run.
They got
over.
housed. So I like that you said the season can go one of 2 ways. I think it's most likely it's only going to go one way. Now you could say if it goes bad, how bad does it get? I think that, but I don't see it veering right, and I don't see it.
You don't see 11-1, 12-1. We're going to the CFP.
I don't know how you could have watched SC in the first 7 games and make a case for that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's. I think we're leaning more towards left. Okay, well, if it ends up playing out the way that we're both saying, if they only had 2 losses this year, I'd still be very impressed. I really would. I would say to myself, damn, they only had 2 losses.
You think they're on the other side of 2?
Yeah.
Because if they had 2 losses, they would have had to beat Oregon or Washington to get to that.
They'd have to beat Oregon or Washington, which is it's not impossible. What isn't,
and not lose to Utah or UCLA.
Well, what I was going to say is it's less to even look at the elite. It's just they've barely got by some of these other schools that they were supposed to be beating. Is Utah better than Arizona? Of course they are.
Of course they are.
Is UCLA better than Arizona? I think they are.
Probably.
Right, probably. So I think there's losses that are coming. What you said about what do you have to show for if this year ends and it's very similar to last year? You have nothing to show for.
No.
Nothing. Now, I could make this argument. You and I have done the show long enough where USC was not a conversation at an early part of our show. And now USC is coming up a couple times a week during our show. From that perspective, they're more interesting. They're probably selling out more tickets. Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams. They're more interesting from that entire perspective. But what also comes with that is the expectations. They are not living up to the expectations so far, and I don't think it's going to get any better as the season progresses.
Last year reset the expectation completely because, like you just said, let's go back to the beginning of last season. And it was I don't know, man, let's see what it looks like. The Clay Helton era was so uninspiring and bad, quite frankly. And not just bad, it was boring.
Yep.
It was uninteresting, full stop for the most part. Other than Sam Darnold's Rose Bowl season, there was really nothing to get excited about.
And we were saying maybe in 5 years they could be a playoff contender.
Right. Like, let's see how long it takes to build. Well, it took a year, right? It maybe less than a year. It took them going into the Pac-12 championship game before they got their second loss of the season, and it was – you could chalk it up to Caleb Williams got hurt. They lost their best guy. Most
it was a good year last year.
It was a great year.
I thought it was a good year.
Heisman Trophy winning. It was a terrific year.
Yeah.
So now you're coming into year 2, which is, okay, you need to be better than you were in year 1.
Sure.
Well, better is really only CFP or a Rose Bowl. Those are really the only 2 better options.
But that's okay. It's SC.
Of course it is.
Yep.
But now you're going to go backwards, potentially. Now you're going to have multiple losses almost for sure before you even get to the end of the line. Now what? Your best player There's not another Caleb Williams coming in anytime soon.
No.
I don't think.
No. And how many times have you said Caleb Williams saved them in that game? Caleb Williams played. If he doesn't play
the only reason
flawless,
they did what they did last year is because Caleb Williams is that good. The only reason that they only have one loss this year is because Caleb Williams is that good.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So he's gone. He's in the NFL. Maybe Lincoln Riley goes with him. That's coming up in just a little bit. But he's gone, and now what do you have? You have an offense that the offensive line's not particularly good. You have a ton of really talented playmakers in Rice and Branch and Lloyd and some of these other guys. But your engine, your quarterback, that dude's in the league. Your defense is still who the hell knows what that is. Now what? And now you're in a conference where the two teams that are probably getting ready to stomp you are coming with you.
Right.
They're not. You're not
the
leaving
elite
them
of the elite from the Pac-12, and you're going into a conference that could beat any school in the country.
I'm not leaving these guys behind to go join another league that's got some really monstrous teams like Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. They're still all over there. But who are the two best teams in this? Oh, Oregon and Washington. Yeah, well, they're coming too. Where you're going to, and by the way, you have to play them just about every single year. You do play UCLA every single year. It's set up to go from the highest highs to, hey, what the hell are we doing here in the span of a couple of seasons?
That's why I thought was it a week ago, maybe a little more than that, when Lincoln Riley had the quotes of, the media already, they already had the narrative. They wanted us to lose.
Before
all that
the
stuff.
season even started, they were already had what they wanted to say about our team.
That's where I kind of find this interesting about SC and Lincoln Riley and some of the quotes I think we've heard over the last couple of weeks as well. What do you care about what they say? If you win, nobody's going to say anything. Just shut everybody up. The problem is you're leaving so much. We're allowed to criticize USC because they haven't the product
they didn't
that
address
we
the
thought.
Problem.
The product that we thought coming into the year looks kind of the same exactly as it did a year ago. So I think even moving forward, Lincoln Riley, you said something to start off. You said that SC still has everything in front of them. They could still potentially win the Pac-12 championship, and
if they run the table, they're into the CFP. It's almost a deadlock cinch.
And they could be in the college football championship. I just think in 3 weeks we're going to be sitting here and it's like,
I do too.
Why are we even that is not a conversation
wrong. What, in 3 weeks, if it goes the way it could go, we're not even talking about them anymore. We've moved on to the Lakers.
Yeah.
We're talking about the NFL. Yep. We're talking about the
You want to do anything Dodgers, or you want to leave that one alone?
SC's 7-4.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good for
it's
you guys.
It's worse than anger is apathy, and right now we're in this anger stage because there's room because we care still.
Because it's still there. There's still something to be grabbed, and life after Caleb Williams is one thing. Life after Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley, that's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Big news. Big news. Next Gen is the official AC, heat, and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. That's right. Next Gen is the absolute best in the biz and has thousands of 5-stars review online to prove it. 5-star reviews are great. I had the guys come out. It is an unbelievable experience. And right now, you can get it as well. A 28-point full heat and AC safety inspection and tune-up, just $88. That's right, only $88 to ensure that your system stays running strong all year long. And they're even going to throw in a free air filter at no extra charge. And if you've got that slow drain, we've all got one of those in our house, right? How about a drain cleaning with camera inspection also for just $88? Call 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN and say goodbye to your AC, heating, or plumbing problems. Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, 833-3-NEXGEN, or visit nextgenaaronplumbing.com to schedule online.
It all comes down to Decision Day. The last match of the regular season is here for the black and gold.
Jump for LA Football Club, Olay! Olay!
Saturday, every team in the league is in action and battling for playoff seeding. LAFC look for their third straight win before the playoffs as they visit the Vancouver Whitecaps.
LAFC!
Pre-game coverage starts Saturday at 5:30 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
What's up, Niner fans? Join me, producer Jorge, at Hollywood Park Casino Monday night at 5 p.m. for Monday Night Football as our Niners take on the Vikings, and you'll get 3 shots to win $1 million on our $1 Million Monday contest. And just bring your ponchos, bring your flags, bring all your swag, and let's go, baby! Niners, Niner gang, baby!
ESPN.
You should probably get on the road. If you're going to get out to Palm Desert by the tip-off of the game, you should probably leave in the next half hour or so.
No comment.
It's out there.
All right, this is a little aggressive.
I'm kind of excited for you to see that arena. I'm curious if it's
I am too.
Like pretty slick. I bet it's nice.
Yeah, I think it's going to be anytime you build a new arena, a new stadium. Plus, like that's kind of the biggest stadium that they're going to have out there. 10,000, 11,000 seats. That's healthy for, obviously for that market. So I'm sure they did everything they can to make it the best experience possible. And then it's a preseason game.
I wonder if it could be. Well, that's the thing. It's like I've
had some chicken tenders and I keep it moving.
I wonder if they'll take the Uncrustables. Like, do they take the media room and move it?
Oh, that's a good point about
to the road.
Room.
Do you get to make sure that you get what you need?
Never
mind like access to the players and coaches, but do you get fed properly?
I'm
sure
basically becoming a media room. Like, I'm starting to analyze every media room that I go to. I bring the same clipboard that Jorge and I are using for P1 and P2, the research that we're doing there.
Sure.
Okay, Emily, I did something yesterday that, I think is going to surprise you.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's going to surprise everybody a little bit. I saw another movie. I went to the movie
Taylor
theater.
Swift Eras Tour?
I went to the movie theater twice in 2 days.
What'd you see?
Yes, I saw The Mission.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Okay. The Mission is there's a kid. I'll call him a kid because he's like probably 25, 26 years old. Very faith-driven. And he thinks that his calling in life is to go out to this really, really remote part of the world where these group of people live. It's one of the most uninhabited places on earth. And other people have attempted to go out there.
Oh, I've seen this. Not this movie, but I've heard
the
the story. Yeah,
this happened within the last.
This is a true story?
True story.
Okay.
Yeah.
And other people have attempted to go there, and the message has clearly been of the people that the
indigenous people.
Yep, that live there.
Leave us alone.
You ain't welcome. We're not, and they have their reasons for it. Generations have their reason for it. They don't want anybody there.
Where in the world is it?
It's off
the coast of India. This is
off
what
the coast of
slug
India.
says. A 26-year-old American missionary, John Chow, was killed as he attempted to make contact with an indigenous group off the coast of India, one of the last communities on the planet still living in isolation.
Okay.
So his whole story is it's a journal that he was writing the entire time, even when he went there the first time and then was unwelcomed and then kind of retreated and then decided to go back. So journal's the journal. And then also that like his dad at no point is narrating anything of that, but writes down what he is feeling and somebody else narrating. So that's basically the story of I wanted to go see that movie. Interested me a couple days ago, but my girl wanted to go see the other movie, so I was like, all right, let's go.
We'll compromise.
Yeah, I was like, all right, let's go.
You did a double feature over the course of a few days.
Yeah, 2 days. I don't go to movies. Listen, I love going to see movies. I really do. I don't see them that often, but 2 movies in 2 days is a little aggressive.
You're not that impressed, are you?
I'm not. I am impressed. I think 2 movies in 2 days is great, but I think for me, the mission would be a Hulu watching at home movie. Same for Dumb Money, but I think that's why everyone goes to movies for different things.
Okay, so
pretty different genres of films that you guys took.
A little different.
Very dark.
I will say this: that movie 100% is perfect for a documentary at home.
Yeah,
that doesn't need to be a theater. That could be. I'm at home. I'm chilling. I watch through half of it or whatever, and I go back.
It doesn't have a ton of showtimes, which I think probably is why. But yeah, no, it's
different.
I'm proud of you for going to multiple
different.
movies.
It's a little bit different.
Was Top Gun Maverick not available on Amazon?
Or on Paramount Plus, I think that's where it's going to live.
I like that they're doing this. Landmark is doing this in Pasadena. I like that they're just airing, and I'm sure a lot of theaters are doing this. Like Wolf of Wall Street was there yesterday.
So they're doing kind of like a Scorsese thing?
They're doing let's just put, I think
ready for that.
On Tuesdays, they're doing, as they lead up to Halloween, they have just all Texas Chainsaw Massacres on, Scream is on, whatever it is. I like that they're doing that.
I think one thing about that is that obviously there's not as many movies coming out right now because of the strikes that were happening and still are happening. But so like they have theaters to fill, and so but you get people to go. People want to see it. Like someone like me, I never saw Poltergeist, and I'm like, I want the experience of seeing it in a theater with the best sound possible.
Yeah.
As opposed to seeing it at home on my iPad.
And if you're paying $15 for a movie, those movies will be like $8, $10. Like they give you a reason to go and.
Or if you have a season pass, I'm sure Landmark has a version of it, but I have it with Alamo.
I'm on my
like your Magic Mountain Pass. How often have you been using that?
Oh, I went 3 times in September.
No, you did.
I did not.
Not a chance.
You guys.
Okay. Have you been back to Magic Mountain since you went to war on your season pass?
I have not been back to Magic Mountain. But you know the annual pass was cheaper than
I know. If you remember, I was fully in support of you arguing that point. Like I was fully team
I couldn't
Slee.
pay the $110. I was paying like $70 to go anytime.
Of course, and $70 for once is better than $110 for once.
Of course.
Been back.
Of course not. Did they give you like a little card? Do you put it on your phone? Like, what is the actual documentation that you belong?
They give you a card.
Okay, that's gone.
I don't know where it is.
I was just going to say that's probably in a landfill somewhere, right? That's long gone.
No idea where it is.
I remember the last time I went to Six Flags, I had to take a Coke can for a discount.
Oh yeah. I remember that promote. Like they promote, like bring any can of like a Coca-Cola product
we'll give you
or whatever.
$20 off or whatever it was.
Yeah,
It's pretty nice.
But
I'm gonna go see The Killers of the Flower Moon tonight, and I'm very excited about it. But I'm probably gonna spend
pack a lunch
4 hours in the movie theater
Right.
tonight because I like to go early. Because at the Alamo they have pre-screen before the show, the trailers start. They have content that's like related to the movie. So I'll play clips from other Scorsese films, clips from other Leo films, clips from De Niro films, and I like to sit down and watch that. But then it's also gonna be like 3:45 with the trailers. So it'll be a long time in the theater for me today.
Time's the movie start?
Movie, I'm going to go see the 6 p.m. showing, so probably there 5:30. Probably out
I would
at
take tomorrow off.
9:45.
6 o'clock for a 3-hour movie is the absolute latest you could even consider going.
That's why I was like...
that's the choice that I would have.
It's the only one that's sold out.
The idea of hey, let's go see Flower Moon. And when does it start? 10. It's like, wait, it ends at 2 o'clock in the morning? What are you, insane? I'm not doing that.
There's a DJ.
I never.
I think 5 or 6.
in my bed.
There's a taco guy on the side.
Now I'm a little more interested.
We're going to make some money off of this because people are going to order multiple drinks probably too, which is great. But yeah, no, I'm super excited to see it. I've been looking forward to this movie for almost a year.
Did you read the book?
I read the book.
Okay.
Yeah, so
and
I know
you
what
enjoyed
happens. I enjoyed the book. I'm interested to see how they tackle the subjects. I've heard both from like the indigenous people from the area, the Osages that have their takes on the movie. But I think that it's, again, like I said yesterday, it's one of Scorsese's last few movies likely, and so I'm excited to see it.
I'm going to need just one basic review from you tomorrow
Yep.
for me specifically?
Yes or no for you?
Like, just
go watch it at
is
noon on a
worth
Saturday.
3.5
Basically, a week and a half of your time to go see this movie.
Okay, I will consider your feelings versus my feelings towards it and try to get the
There
best
is
one.
your review of the movie, which I'm interested in, but then I need your Travis version of that. Yes,
If it's worth it for Travis.
Simply thumbs up or thumbs down on the amount of time.
By the way, I know the movie pretty well because when I went to the movie theater on Tuesday, I saw the preview. And then when I went to the movie theater
double whammy?
yesterday, I saw the preview.
Same trailer?
Same one,
Trailer's
but
pretty good,
solid trailer. Solid trailer.
It's got a good music. But an update on Michigan, which we talked about in the last segment about Michigan's the investigation into them and their sign stealing. This is the update that the allegation pertains to NCAA bylaw 1161, which reads off-campus in-person scouting of future opponents in the same season is prohibited. Sources say. So that is the
translated.
First of all, it's not bylaw 1161. I think it was. What did you say it was in the break?
What it is it's that you can't have a spy rule. That's what that means, right? You cannot in-person scout a future opponent. Means somebody is in the building doing something they're not supposed to do. Whether that means filming or just watching and taking notes or whatever, but that is the rat rule, right?
Trash cans.
Yeah. The trash can, hey, they got it. Because here's the thing. Football coaches are notoriously paranoid. That somebody's going to get a view of that trick play they've held off on all season long.
And they're going to run
break
it for a 2-point conversion that can win the game.
Undefensive. If we the second we run it, everybody's going to know how to defend it. But the first time we do it, we're going to have it. That's what they're worried about.
Yeah.
I remember working one of these Rams games, and I was in the sidelines, with my camera and stuff. And I was talking to somebody there, and they were like, you know that there's people from the other team who have access to the fan shop. They can get a hoodie and just pretend like they're part of the team here. And they can be listening to all kinds of stuff. So nobody says a thing down here.
Oh, really?
When it comes to like the game plan and stuff like that, everybody's just talking, see how you're doing and stuff like that. Because anybody can pick up a hoodie from the other team and come to the sideline and just be listening to things.
I don't know if there's any group of coaches that are more paranoid than football coaches. Even baseball managers, they cover up their mouth and all that kind of stuff. The football coaches are on another level.
Because your plays is everything. If people know what's even more, I think, than other things, it's relying on my plays versus your plays.
All right, let's try this quick phone call here, right? Because this is an interesting one. Let's go to Chris in Los Angeles. Chris, you're on with Travis and Slee. What's up?
Hey, guys. I just always wondered how smart it was for SC to go to the Big Ten because, there's something to be said to be the big fish in the smaller pond. And if they're trying to get their football program back on the national stage, it seems crazy to me to want to go and play Michigan, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Penn State, some of those teams every single year when they were struggling to beat some of the softer Pac-12 teams. Now, I know money's an issue as far as what they'll be getting, but, SC is not a poor school. And the $49 million, I think the Big Ten offered them, I think they would have got like 30-something if they had stayed in the Pac-12 and they worked out the deal with ESPN. Mm-hmm. So my point is, I think they may regret that decision because they may just be a bottom feeder now in the Big Ten where they could have been at the top of the heap. And with the new rules, with the expansion for the playoffs, the winner of the Power Five, they could have been in the playoffs literally every single year. So and there's a value to that. So I think, I mean, I hope not because I'm an SC guy, but I think this might not be good for us.
Yeah, Chris, everything you said is true. And I'm glad you said what you said at the end, like you're an SC guy. This is bad for SC fans. This is bad for SC athletes. But none of that matters. It's not a matter of smart. And you say, I don't think it's that smart. It has nothing to do with smart or not smart. They're getting more money. And I hear what you're saying, that SC has this incredible endowment and the SC alumni is incredibly successful and this, that, and the other. But how often do you see a billionaire steal money from somebody else? It happens all the time. There's no such thing as, we got enough. It doesn't exist in the real world. It doesn't. If there's more over there, I'm going to go over there and take more. That happens 99% of the time. And that's what's happening here. It's bad for the athletes. Yeah. It's bad for the fans. Mm-hmm. It's bad for everybody other than the bankers, for the guys that get the money, for the guys that get to go spend the money, because he's right on all of this stuff. I don't think it'll be a bottom feeder.
I know we got to go to break. We can hit on. There's some things I agree with, some things I disagree with. I think the point that you're making about the financial part of it. I wonder if the Pac-12 figured out it's, you know what, if it would be a different story. They just never figured it out.
We'll do that. Plus, hey, did you see Foo coming up next? It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app and bam!
Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I thought I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
So, hey, did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this?
Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
Jorge, did you see that I put your delicious fruit into my hot water?
Those limes?
The limes, and my voice is nice and silky and smooth today.
It's great, bro.
Thank
Go
you.
get a donut.
Not a I'm on fruit water, fruit hot water. I'm
That's
on a
good. It's
health
good combo.
Did you put a tea bag in there? No, just
No.
straight up
Hot
lemon,
water,
and honey.
lemon.
Do we have honey there? No, right?
Do we have honey? I don't think so.
In there? No, I don't think we do.
I don't think we do. Yeah. All right.
Get a beehive and mine your own.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. Oranges, limes. Oh, yes, by the way. Yesterday, Brenda's dad gave me mangoes.
Oh.
But they're like little tiny mangoes.
Okay.
Dude, you peel them, you throw them in like a strawberry, and then just, wait till the seed is
Interesting.
Like really, really sweet. We got mangoes, we got guavas, the limes.
Farmer
and
Jorge
then
over here.
oranges are, I'm starting to see them. They're starting to grow.
Okay.
Those oranges are good. I remember bringing them to you guys. And,
I ate 6 of them in the room over there. What do you got for us?
All right, Fu. So did you see that there's a 50-year-old man who's finally caught in Spain after faking a heart attack to dine and dash? He avoided 20 restaurants by faking a heart attack and just wouldn't pay the bill. So they talked to one of the managers, and the manager says this guy would be theatrical about it. He would pretend like he's having a heart attack, lean on the table, kind of roll
Fred
over.
Sanford from Sanford
and then
Son.
he'll hit the floor. And then this is what he would order: white label whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah, white label whiskey to wash down a salad. So he wouldn't order a lot of food, but since he's been doing it for 20 different restaurants, he finally got caught. He spent 42 days in jail, and all these restaurants are planning on, coming together so they can jail him. He's facing up to 2 years in prison for doing this. Did you guys?
Sounds like it's worth it.
In your young days, when you guys were, did you guys ever dine and dash, or have you guys ever witnessed somebody, eating and dashing?
I've never done it, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody do it. I was I don't even want to say was like past tense. I am a rule follower. It bothers me when other people don't, and the concept of, even if it's something relatively small or whatever, it just, I don't know. I would be so worried about getting caught that I would never do it.
So
it's also more on that server too. So you're not hurting the restaurant necessarily. You're hurting that server.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And that server needs money.
So about a week and a half ago, I dine and dash that
the
local
place.
spot in Pasadena.
Morton's.
Because they burned my pizza again.
Okay, so I haven't done that, but I did do something in high school that I wasn't very proud of. Me and a buddy of mine that we're on the high school basketball team, and I think it was after one of the practices. We thought it'd be a great idea to just go to restaurants, go to fast food places. So I would go, let's say, to a drive-through at McDonald's and say, hey, I was here earlier and you guys forgot to get me the quarter pounder. Do you have a receipt? No. Okay, here's a quarter pounder. Then I'd go to Arby's. I do the same thing. Then I went to Jack in the Box and the same thing. I went and got beyond a mozzarella sticks from one of the, what was it?
What do you guys?
Literally me and him went and got an item from each place and had a full meal.
That's
not
funny.
my best moment, but I guess that's what you do when you're
great.
16.
Yeah, I've never witnessed somebody dining or dashing, and
Even
I've
in
never
your
done it
Chick-fil-A
myself.
days?
No, I mean it's hard to dine and dash because we have to take your payment before you get your food.
True.
So it's not really the same concept. Sometimes people have we were always checked about bad checks or $100 bills that were fake. But yeah, no, I've never experienced it.
So you bring up a good point about you're not sticking it to the restaurant necessarily, because at the end of the day, it's food gets dropped and all. It's not a big deal to them, but to the server it is because of the tip that they're going to get and everything else.
And their manager's going to ream them out likely.
How bad does service need to be for you not to tip on it at all? Have you ever done that? Because I literally, in my 40 years of eating in restaurants, I've done it once.
They would have to spit in their food in front of me.
Yeah, I've done it once.
I think the worst I've done is I'm pretty much, no matter what you do, you're going to get a 20% tip. And I'm just looking out for whoever it is. I'm pretty much whatever. The worst thing I've done is I'm given a 15% or less tip. I've never not tipped.
So one time in my life, we went to a place and the waiter was slow to get there. He was slow, and then he started offering his political takes on the universe to the table.
Yep.
Then he started commenting on what everybody was ordering and why that was a bad idea and that's genetically modified and you shouldn't eat this and that's too much of that. And I'm like,
he's looking out for you.
I said, you know what? Thank you for your concern, but can you just take the order and move on? No, he wanted to inform me while all the things, and that was the only time I'm like, we're not doing this.
So I worked at a restaurant during my college years, whatever, and then 2 times it happened to me. And we realized how they did it because we went back and looked at the cameras. So it was a table of 4 guys, bigger dudes, whatever. And then one of them would get up to the restroom, pretend to go in there, and then he would walk out and he would leave the restaurant. He would text his homies, be like, "Hey, I'm out." So then the next one would get up and do the same thing until the last one would do it. The last one was pretend to go to the restroom because the register is right next to the restroom.
Right.
So there was like a small little hallway. He would walk in through the hallway, not in the restroom, and then he would just walk out and says, "We're busy cashing people out."
Sure.
They booked it. And then the second time around, somebody was asking me for like a to-go cup because they asked for a large drink. So the to-go cup is behind me where the register is not. I'm not looking at the register anymore. And then I'm getting it, and they booked it. So then I would talk to some of the police officers who would come in at night, and they'll be like, "You know what, man, you're in a bad spot because you're near the freeway.
Yeah.
Anybody's just gonna pull out, get out here, get their food, and bounce. But don't ever approach them because you never know their intentions. Besides, they're hungry.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Save your life more than anything
don't
else.
chase after anybody. That's not your job.
They should put that Spanish guy in jail. He's done
20 restaurants.
Yeah, I don't know if he needs 2 years for it, but maybe 2 weeks. Right?
2 weeks.
And he has to work as a server.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's to go do the real work.
Okay, I got another quick one, and maybe the people out there can help me. But who do you call when every morning I leave my house at a specific time, and if maybe 5 minutes after, later, but there's this light by my place that takes 2 to 3 minutes to change, even though there's no traffic coming. Is there anywhere we can call? Be like, "Hey, man, can you guys come?"
Maybe the city.
That would be my guessing.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe the city.
Yeah.
Say, I think there's an issue with this light. Literally,
Just
I'm
open up
standing here
that
for a couple
panel
minutes.
on the lights and just start plugging stuff in. See what happens.
Right. Start messing with my headphones, trying to put it in
Just
there.
I thought
rearrange
Jorge
it.
was gonna say, "I got a guy."
Bro,
That light
no, seriously.
is.
I'm like 3 minutes, 2 minutes.
By the way, that's an eternity.
Yes.
It's a long
in
time.
the light world.
Okay, so you pull up to a red light. It's the middle. It's 4:00 in the morning. You're going to work. There's nobody anywhere, and you hit that light.
Yeah.
You run it, right?
Yes.
You stop. You look both ways to make sure there's
100%.
nobody coming.
1,000%.
Make sure there's no camera.
Yeah.
I've been in that spot before.
Because you'll get the ticket.
And you probably have as well, where you leave late. You leave a Laker game late. It's 11:30. I'm at a light in Lake in California. There's a soul there. I'm going through the light.
Yeah.
All right. So Lincoln Riley leaving with Caleb Williams. It's a possibility, at least according to some. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Your next Subaru is at Subaru.
This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
You've already missed your opportunity, Slee. Your opportunity to get to the Laker game relatively traffic-free has expired because you have to drive basically to Tucson to watch this game tonight. And it's out there a ways.
Right after, I'm going to drive to Sacramento. Scout the Kings. Kings' final preseason game tomorrow against...
Did you see Wemby dribble through that guy's legs last night?
Oh, my gosh.
No, I didn't see it.
Did you see that, Em?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Really
I thought he was
was.
going to break his own leg, too.
Okay, yes. I'm so glad you said that. So he's bringing the ball up the court. And
gave one
I think
of
it was
those-
Reggie Bullock, wasn't it, Em?
Yeah, yeah.
So Reggie Bullock is kind of like trying to defend him. He's got in his defensive posture. And Wemby kind of nutmegs him, right? Like goes between his legs and gets... But I was with you, Em. It was cool because a 9-foot guy is doing that move.
Yeah.
But he looked so... awkward trying to recover from that move.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, slow down. You're going to break your neck.
It's all
Roll
awkward.
your ankle or
No,
something
it's
terrible.
it's all awkward. I mean, you see him get to the basket and how little he has to get off his feet to dunk looks awkward. He pulls up for a 23-footer, and he's 7'4", but his form is perfect. I'm like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to be doing that. I didn't see it. I
just don't want him to hurt himself.
No, of course not. But it was just such a shocking move for somebody that size, right?
It looked like a normal dribble for him, but it was all the way. It was just very not off-putting, but just not something I see all the time.
Yeah, it was stunning to see. But first of all, every time you see him, it doesn't add up until you watch him run up and down the court a few times. But do you think that's going to work out? Is he the can't-miss guy that everybody says he's going to be? Because I am still highly skeptical. Not that he'll be a bum.
Yeah.
Not that he's going to be Sean Bradley or something like that. But a guy that skinny, having that tall, that frame
is the
not
question
great.
Because there's a big difference between he's an all-star and he's a franchise player.
That's what I'm talking about.
To he's going to be the greatest player ever.
No,
I'm
not greatest
in that
player
world.
ever. But is he going to be the centerpiece of a team that's competing for championships for a long time?
I'm okay with buying into that. I listen, the injury piece of it, I get your hesitation, and by the way, that's a very, very difficult one to argue. But since I cannot predict whether the man's going to get injured or anything like that,
but
skill set wise, size wise,
no,
all
I
that
get
stuff,
that. But
I think that
the
is
prediction of the injury is that's where the rubber
Will
meets
he
the
hold up?
roads.
That's what you're saying?
It never has worked.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody that's shaped like that has ever had a long, career. Kevin Durant, I guess, is the closest thing, but Kevin Durant's 5 or 6
I was
inches
gonna
shorter.
say, I don't
than
even
that
think
guy.
that one's a good example. Because I think
But
the
it's the
games are
closest.
similar. The games are similar, but the size, what you're talking about, is
no. He's 6 inches taller than Kevin Durant.
The other
Kevin
one that
Durant
comes to mind is Brandon Ingram. Remember how he was like skinny?
Yeah,
and
but how old's
long
Ingram?
like that?
6'8" or 9"?
Yeah.
maybe 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, this guy's 7'5". He's nearly a foot taller than Brandon Ingram.
You know what might save him in this world is being down low just does not matter anymore.
No, it doesn't.
And I think that might be the one. It's not like he's going up every night. It's Shaq, and then it's Olajuwon, and then it's Patrick Ewing, and it's just that if there's an era that a player that we're describing can last and have success, it's going to be this era.
All right, so SC is home this week against Utah. They got beat by Utah twice last year. They're coming off of a loss to Notre Dame by 4 touchdowns. And the bloom is kind of coming off the rose pretty quickly on USC because they lose on Saturday, and we'll do our picks coming up here in not too long. But now you're basically out of it. If they lose, they're because even if they got back into the mix for the Pac-12 championship game, I don't think a 2-loss team is going through in a 4. So you're basically done at that point. Caleb Williams
And you can't lose this one when you still have Oregon and Washington on your
right.
schedule.
Caleb Williams is still the overwhelming favorite to be the top overall pick. And Scott Wolf for Inside USC wrote, quote, in NFL coaching circles, the talk is that Lincoln Riley is putting out feelers about taking a job in the NFL next season. The word is Riley would be open to an NFL job if he could follow Caleb Williams to the same franchise. If the Chicago Bears had the number 1 pick, it would probably be ideal for this theory. Okay? So the speculation is they have a relationship going back to Oklahoma at SC.
Sure.
He's likely to be the number 1 pick. Lincoln Riley would be a sought-after NFL head coach, I believe. He has been in the past. does he just follow him out the door at 2 years at SC? It feels like he's bought into the whole USC culture, the Southern California thing, fight on. Like he feels like he's doing it.
Okay.
But I can't imagine that this is just totally out of left field and not something that at least somebody somewhere has floated the idea of, hey, why don't we go try this together on the next level?
I guess this is the question. Does he care about what he wants to do at SC? Like, is that important to him, or is SC just a stepping stone to get wherever else that he wants to get?
Let me ask you this, and to answer your question. Okay. Do you think that most of these guys care about anything other than their own careers?
Well, I guess no. I think they care about their own careers, but him at SC and going to the Big Ten, and we'll see how competitive they are and everything else. It's a really, really good job.
Sure, it's a great job.
If you think coaching the Chicago Bears is a better job, which is okay, but listen, you're in the NFL. You're in the NFL now. It's
only 32 of those gigs.
Only 32 of those, and to get to the right place, I'm gonna give you. I was thinking about this yesterday because it's the situation. Frank Vogel was the coach of the Lakers. They win an NBA championship. Lakers trade for Russ. They win 33 games, and then he gets clipped. I guarantee you Frank Vogel could have found other opportunities over the last year or so.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. He waited, patient, to find the right opportunity. All right, now he's coaching the Phoenix Suns. There's some all-stars
really
there.
Good team.
It's a good team. I'm not saying they're going to win it all, but they're in the mix to win it all.
Of course.
Is it more important for Lincoln Riley to say, okay, well, if I'm going to go to the NFL, I need the right ownership. I need the right franchise. I don't want to be set up to fail, because you could be a great coach and just in a bad situation. That's not uncommon in sports. And the SC coaching gig today, right now, and it's because of Lincoln Riley, resources, you're going to go get 5-star athletes. You're going to now go into a conference where that's part of your pitch. Look, we get to go up against this team. I just saw a promo. It said number 7 Penn State versus number 3 Ohio State. It was like one of those, right? That's what they got coming up. I think it also depends on what is the opportunity in front of you.
So the Bears are an interesting situation where it feels like the past couple of years have been complete coaching incompetence is why they are so bad. Is that the coach does not set up these people for success. Justin Fields maybe wasn't the guy, maybe it's the guy, who knows. But that if you get Lincoln Riley, he thinks that he can win with that offense. Their defense has been better in the past with the Bears, and that he thinks that he can combine with that with Caleb, and Caleb is a real game changer. The CQI that we talk about, the coach quarterback with Lincoln and Caleb could be great in the NFL.
Yep.
But the Bears are a cursed franchise.
Well, perhaps.
3 wins last year.
Uh-huh.
With a bad coach.
6 wins the year before. But here's the thing. We can only play that for so long.
Okay.
3 wins, 6 wins, 8-8, 8-8. 12-4 in 2018, and then I think lost in that first round of the
double
playoffs. Okay. All right. Before that, 5 wins, 3 wins, 6 wins, 5 wins. Is it a bad quarterback and coach every year?
Yes,
or is there some
it
owner?
is.
Or is it far above that also chooses who's your head coach and who are you drafting at quarterback?
But if the Bears took Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, that is not a bad coach-quarterback connection, and that might be the best decision they've made in a long time.
I'm going to make a comparison here because I think the CQI.
What does
SC
do? They in the same offseason?
Yeah, I know, right?
Caleb
That's
and
a
Lincoln
kick
gone?
in the teeth.
Yeah.
The CQI might need an O in there too, and that's ownership.
Agreed. And it's the most important one of any of them.
Maybe. I'm not. I don't know.
You can get lucky.
It's certainly because I want to throw this one in there.
Yeah.
What were the Kansas City Chiefs before Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes showed up?
Right.
Not great. They're okay. They had some moments where they would be okay. You got Dick Vermeil. He's a good coach, right? He wins some games. Herm Edwards was there briefly. They got a little bit better. But for the most part, over the 70s and 80s and the 90s, and both, they were at best mid and frequently bad.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid is clearly a high level NFL coach.
Sure. One of the best of all time.
Patrick Mahomes might turn out to be a top 5 quarterback of all time, if not better than that.
Yep.
That can trump the O, right? But is Lincoln Riley Andy Reid? I don't know, but probably not.
Yep.
Right?
Unless they get a great defensive coordinator.
But maybe. But
I don't even know.
Andy Reid's credentials in the NFL were impeccable before he showed up.
Sure,
you knew Andy Reid was a really good coach.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes, they hit on, right? A 10 out of 10. I don't know what Caleb Williams is going to be. I don't know what Lincoln Riley is going to be. So the C and the Q in this are maybe very good, but are they good enough to overcome the O, the owner?
Yeah.
I don't know. But if I'm Lincoln Riley, I think I might give it a shot.
It makes me think.
Mahomes.
But it makes me think. It makes me think of the Chargers as an example. The ownership in the Chargers is the most important of everything because you have such a history of seeing, like, look, you can have Justin Herbert there, you can have Phillip Rivers there, you can have Drew Brees there, you can have great quarterbacks, you can have Marty Schottenheimer, you can have LaDainian Tomlinson, you can have all these greats. Ultimately, at the end of the day, do you have an owner? And I know it's not all apples to apples, but was Dan Gilbert a good owner of the Cavs, or did LeBron James just happen to be drafted by the? You also have exceptions to the rule, but I'd rather have a good owner.
Like, I want to go back to what you said a second ago, Em, about how they passed on Patrick Mahomes. But was that because the owner was bad and overruled and said, "I don't want that, I want this"? Was that because they had the wrong exec? Like, I don't know the decision making tree of it. Yeah. Clearly, ownership in Chicago is not good. But think about what is good. Might be one of the best sports towns in America. They are all in. When the Bears are good,
stadium.
There's nothing like it.
I agree. The Chicago market,
the marketing of being a star in Chicago,
a great market.
Unless you're going to be in New York or Los Angeles, it's
as good as it gets. Yep.
It's as good as it gets. That there's a lot of good there. The question is, does the ownership, is it so bad that you can't overcome it? And the perfect example is what you're talking about, is the Chargers, because the Chargers have had Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Phillip Rivers may or may not have, but he was high level.
Yeah, he was a great quarterback.
Justin Herbert is really, really good. Mm-hmm. Junior Seau, Hall of Fame. Antonio Gates, Hall of Fame. LaDainian Tomlinson, Hall of Fame.
Rodney Harrison.
They've had really, really good players, and they've had good seasons, but they're kind of pop. Here's a good one. Okay, right back down. That there's not that level of sustained success. And that's what you just don't know when you take that job. What is the like? They're probably going to tell you whatever you want to hear.
Sure.
But when it comes to when it comes time to make that decision, the guy, I don't want to do that.
Yep.
Well, that's the guy we want. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Now what do you do? Mm-hmm. You can't overcome that.
Virginia McCaskey is the owner of the Bears, and she's 100, so I'm not really sure how.
But her team,
yes,
exactly. I'm not talking about where she's got her bony finger at the draft board.
Yeah,
and saying,
she's not Jerry Jones.
I need to take Caleb Williams #1. I don't think she's doing that.
But there's Ryan Poles, who's the GM, and it just depends on how that all fits. But I think that
there's exceptions to the rule. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I just know that if you told me, hey,
it's the brain trust.
Do you want an owner? Do you want the right owner, or do the Dodgers have the right ownership group?
Oh, for sure.
You can't argue it. Of course they do.
Yeah.
The questions are really just moving forward after that. Is it the right manager? Is it right this? But the ownership will always give the resources they need to win.
So, and also about this, I think that, again, if the Bears brain trust is listening to the talk around Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, it might also be a terrible decision. They might go all in, take a risk and get Lincoln Riley, and then he flames out in the NFL.
And it doesn't work, yeah.
And who knows?
But that's a risk worth taking.
Yeah.
That's not a bad bet. You know what I mean? Like sometimes a good decision, a good bet doesn't hit.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet on that.
People will make fun of them because like, of course Lincoln Riley wouldn't work because he didn't work in college football. So why would he, didn't cash it in college football?
Yeah, I don't know. If it didn't work, it wouldn't be Lincoln Riley's fault. There's something so rotten in the DNA of the ownership that nothing would ever work. Right?
I think that would be true if it was Bill Belichick going to the Bears or someone like Andy Reid going to the Bears and it not working out.
But so
Lincoln Riley's never been in the NFL.
Touch is bad. I don't know. And maybe he would be bad in the NFL. I'm not arguing that it would be a slam dunk success. What I'm saying is I don't know. I would need to see it where the other pieces are good before you automatically determine that it's bad.
There's so few college coaches that are extremely successable in the NFL. I mean, we can count them on our hand, right? You know?
There's not a ton, but there are some. It's not like it's never happened. They're both. There are probably more bad ones than good ones, but that's just true of everything.
Yeah, but
there's
if you're Caleb Williams and
you're all of it.
Wanting a reason to go to a team, maybe it is because you like
Well, maybe
Lincoln
that's
Riley.
the tipping point of, look, I'm only coming if, right? That could be a negotiating point on his behalf, and it's probably why Lincoln Riley is making sure that he gets whatever he needs. The Lakers are in Palm Springs with Slee. That's coming up later tonight. After AD, after LeBron, what happens next? That's coming up. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. And for the ones who get it done, Grainger offers high-quality supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help keep your facility safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
The fun way to drive home is with Sedano and Cat.
It's just like, hey, is there a brick wall right there? Let me run head first into it and knock it down. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those deals.
R.I.P. to Paulie from the Rocky movies. Burt Young, who played Adrian's brother Paulie in the Rocky movies, died at 82 years old. He had a role in The Sopranos as well. He was the guy that did that very messy hit and then drove into the telephone pole as he was trying to get away. Paulie was one of my all-time favorite, not main characters in those movies. So R.I.P. Burt Young, 82 years old.
82 years old.
You a Rocky guy, Slee?
I loved Rocky. I think I've always said Rocky 4 is my favorite of the Rocky movies. But Rocky is just, it takes us back to our youth. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Rocky is as good as it gets.
Movie sucks. I saw the first one, checked out halfway through it. Come at me, people. Who cares?
You didn't like the original
Rocky?
one?
The original one. Yeah.
I also don't like the original Rocky.
Yeah, it just checked out.
That you don't like it doesn't surprise me. That you don't like it
Jorge,
does
you don't like
surprise
Rocky?
me.
Nah,
Rocky's,
man.
That's a good one.
No, even those Creed ones, it's just, come on. Nobody takes a punch like that.
The first Creed, well, it's, if you're looking for boxing authenticity,
I was.
a guy taking 400 shots to the head in 2 rounds is probably not terribly realistic. The guy holding his hands down by his waist the entire fight is not great defensive strategy.
So after halfway through the first one, you were done with the whole series?
Yeah.
Done?
No thanks.
So you never saw Paulie get his robot that went around the house that he had bring him drinks and stuff? I haven't
I've
seen
seen
Rocky
some scenes
3.
because we were looking for a specific scene. I couldn't find it, but I saw some scenes, and pretty funny guy. Pretty funny.
Burt Young was also the enforcer in Back to School when Rodney Dangerfield re-enrolls his college as a 50-something-year-old guy, and Burt Young is his muscle. It's terrific. Terrific. He starts breaking guys' necks in a bar fight.
That's solid.
R.I.P. to Burt Young. All right, so you're going out to Palm Springs to watch the Lakers. We were talking about it the other day that there's like two parallel tracks that the Lakers are on right now. They need to win enough games to get into the playoffs, and they probably have enough versatility to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's, if you're going to win a championship, LeBron and AD have to be not only good, but their best, right? To beat Milwaukee or Boston or Phoenix or Denver or Golden State or any of these other teams, they're going to have to play really well. What has to happen beyond that? Like, what is then? Because if LeBron, it's not unlike Matthew Stafford staying healthy, right? If he goes down, it's like, okay, we can talk about it, but it's if LeBron and AD aren't near their best and able to play a lot of minutes in the playoffs, none of this other stuff really matters. But if they are, what else has to go right?
So I look at some of these role players for the Lakers. I don't know how much we've really talked about them. We keep talking about, look at the Lakers' depth. You know, it's because of the depth that the Lakers have that they're going to be able to hang with. They're a top 3 or 4 team in the Western Conference, something along those lines. But one of the things I think we haven't hit on is which of these guys, because not every role player is created equal. So which of these guys are the ones that you're looking at and you're saying, okay, after Bron and Anthony Davis, I don't know if
it's
you want to
call it. It's got to be Austin Reeves.
I don't know
next,
if you want
right?
to call it the pecking order.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want
right.
to call it the. If you just want to say what's if this player doesn't play well, the Lakers got some real problems. Reeves is the one that was on the. I think I mentioned this to you when they released the schedule. It was LeBron, AD, and Austin Reeves.
Sure,
that was on that list. Austin Reeves was also the player that was in the FIBA, US representing USA in the FIBA, and he was.
I was going to say
legit.
not only on it. Was one of the best players on it.
Was an important piece on it. He'd
Right.
come off the bench, but he'd play starter minutes and he'd close out games.
Yeah.
It was number 66 on the ranking for ESPN.
Yeah.
Okay. There's and I mean, look at that. Whatever that ranking was a year ago. Where was Austin Reeves? Right.
Not 66.
Yeah. Let's put it that way. After that, I find it. Well, there's one player in particular that I have a lot of curiosity on this upcoming year. Rui got paid 3 years, $51 million. Rui Hachimura is the prototypical perfect size, 6'9". He's a wing player in today's NBA. He's got a great wingspan. But when we look at players like LeBron James, and there's going to be times where LeBron is sitting at the sideline, and it might be Rui and Anthony Davis that are holding down the 4 and the 5. And Rui's an interesting one to me because if you look at his career, it does not represent what he did in the playoffs. He got paid for what he did in the playoffs. He got paid for his potential of what he can be this upcoming year, and you just want to see him live up to those expectations and surpass those expectations. But I think he's a very, very important player that we don't really talk a lot about. The attention goes to the top 2, the attention to Austin Reeves, and the attention also goes to D'Angelo Russell. There's a lot of attention that goes towards him. Rui, to me, is a very key player this upcoming year for the Lakers. So to answer your question...
You think he's up for it? Because that's the question, right? It's not just... I can make the order...
What do you mean by up for it?
In other words, this is the Padres. Follow me on this. Mm-hmm. We know that you guys got the right guys. But last year was, and maybe not the stars that the Padres have, but there is the, hey, look, we beat the Dodgers. This is great. We went to the NLCS. It's kind of found money. It's like, this is great. The last year's Laker team got off to such a dreadful start, and then they made all these moves along the way. They elevated Austin Reeves into this position where he was clearly the third best player on the team, is the third best player on the team. And they get to the Western Conference Finals, and everybody's like, wow, that actually worked really. Let's pay Rui, like you were talking about. Let's pay Austin Reeves. And now it's not like, hey, this isn't found money anymore. This is your floor went from, hey, just get into Western Conference Finals. And the expectations that come along with that are totally different. It's much easier to play with house money than it is to play with, if you're not great, there's something wrong with you. LeBron clearly can do it. AD can clearly do it. They've had to deal with this their entire careers. It's new for this next group of guys.
True.
It's brand new for them to be, hey, it's not cool that you're good. You have to be good. It's a totally different expectation.
When you said, is he up for it? My true answer is, I don't know. He's never been in this spot before. So I think there is a little bit of, I know there's going to be nights that we come in here in the morning and I say, Rui had 8 points. He literally had no impact in that game, and they need more from him. That's going to happen. Of course it's going to happen. It happens. You play 82 games a year. But
it can't happen a lot.
But it's an interesting... D'Angelo was a little bit different because D'Angelo was, here's a player that has shown over his career, I could average 16 a game.
Yeah.
I could get you 8 assists a game.
But
he was a high draft pick. He's been at multiple places. Rui was kind of, I don't want to call it found money because it's not found money. He also was, I think it was a top 10 pick, something along those lines. But Rui had a playoff run that everyone was like, wow, look what he's doing here. Wow, make sure you start him. Is he going to be able to do that for an 82-game season when it's
That's the
expected?
difference, right? Like those two guys, Rui and Reeves, let's find out. D'Lo, I think we know. Like D'Angelo Russell has nights where it's like, that dude's awesome. Mm-hmm. And then there are other nights it's like, what's wrong with that guy? Like, and it's, this, like his 7th or 8th year in the league?
I think actually this is going to be his 9th season.
Ninth season in the league. If for the first 9 years, you've kind of been the same, I know that's who you are. You're hot and cold. Some nights it's great, some nights it's not, and you just got to live with it. And I think that the Lakers are constructed to live with the fluctuations that exist in D'Angelo Russell's game. They can get where they want to go with the fluctuations in D'Angelo Russell's game. I don't know if they can if Reeves fluctuates too much beyond
Reeves,
it.
they can't have fluctuate.
That's what I'm saying.
That one can't fluctuate.
Even some of those other supporting players, you can have some, but they can't be wild, right? I need to, if you're one of my starters, if you're one of the guys that I paid,
or I'm giving 30 minutes a night to.
Right. I need you to be this most of the time. Everybody has good nights and bad. This is what makes LeBron so amazing. His bad nights aren't that bad.
Yep.
Right?
And we're so critical because why are you shooting that 3 in the fourth quarter and he just played 36 minutes and is in his 20th year in the league?
His floor is super high.
Yeah.
Right? That's what makes a great player. It's not the high end. Lots of guys can go high occasionally, but what's the worst version of you, or what's the worst outcome of what you're doing? We don't know the answer for that for most of those other guys. We only know the answer to that with LeBron and AD, and probably D'Lo because he's been around a long time. The floor on Gabe Vincent isn't particularly low either. We know it. He's going to play defense. He's going to play hard. He's going to make some shots. He's going to be a good decision maker. But some of these newer guys, we're still trying to figure out exactly what it is moving forward. I think that's the question with this team, because if the floor for Reeves is high, if the floor for Rui is relatively high, they're going to do some damage. But if you get these wild, hey, that's another one of those 6-point nights, or man, Austin Reeves hasn't had a good night in 2 weeks. Like those are the things that are the difference between being a championship caliber team and being a team that can play well in spurts.
Or is it only necessary for that to happen in the postseason? Like, I think they could probably get away with different fluctuation during the regular season as long as
they need them. I think actually the regular season, Rui's the one for me that I'm not 100% sure what he is. I'm not 100% sure. But, Em, to answer your question, you got 82 games. Do you really want LeBron and Anthony forget AD. Do you really want LeBron grinding through an 82 games?
Of course, and they're not.
That's where these guys are supposed to be the ones that say, we keep this thing afloat. You didn't have that last year.
No, they didn't.
Now you have it.
But I need it at the end. Like you can kind of bounce around a little bit during the regular season because they're going to be good enough, and you play enough teams that are also going to be kind of all over the map. But once you get in the playoffs, that floor needs to come up, and whether or not those guys can sustain that high floor, that's the question. I think they probably can. I think Reeves can. The rest of them, I think we'll figure it out. Factor Caps coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. Hey, if you get hurt in an accident, you know what to do. You know what I'm going to say. Call Sweet James, 1-800-9-MILLION, 1-800-900-0029. Because when you make that call, here's what you get. You get the best in the business. They have been awarded best attorneys in America. You get an unbelievable amount of experience. Sweet James has been doing it nearly 20 years, and his team of multiple lawyers, they're going to look at your case. You're talking decades of experience to make sure that they don't miss a thing, to make sure that the insurance company pays you what you're entitled to, not what they're offering. They're not just going to take it and move on to the next one. They're going to make sure you get what you deserve. They're going to make sure you get what justice is, right? This is what they do day after day after day. This is why I called Sweet James. This is why I'm recommending that you call Sweet James. 1-800-9-million. Get the absolute best, that special touch that Sweet James can give you. 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
What's up, Niner fans? Join me, producer Jorge, at Hollywood Park Casino Monday night at 5 p.m. for Monday Night Football as our Niners take on the Vikings, and you'll get 3 shots to win $1 million on our $1 Million Monday contest. And just bring your ponchos, bring your flags, bring all your swag, and let's go, baby! Niners, Niner gang, baby!
It all comes down to Decision Day. The last match of the regular season is here for the black and gold.
Jump for LA Football Club, Olay! Olay!
Saturday, every team in the league is in action and battling for playoff seeding. LAFC look for their 3rd straight win before the playoffs as they visit the Vancouver Whitecaps.
LAFC!
Pre-game coverage starts Saturday at 5:30 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
What is a cap?
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, Al, you heading out already to get to Palm Desert?
I was just telling you, it's so funny you say that.
I'm going to call you guys for the final hour.
I said to him, I look forward to you texting me at 4 o'clock saying, still not there yet.
How long is the drive?
Deep.
How long is the drive right now, from right now?
You can get started, and I will tell you in 2 seconds.
Okay, so Las Vegas Aces won their back-to-back titles yesterday in the WNBA, so congratulations to the Aces. But Mark Davis was present in their celebration on the court afterwards, and he was doing some very fun dancing with the girls over there, and yeah, it was great. So it got me thinking. You think that you're a better dancer than Mark Davis, Travis? Factor Cap?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to no. Cap. I know for a fact that I'm not a better dancer than Mark Davis.
Do you think you're equal?
I think I'm about the same as Mark Davis, but if I had to get maybe a little bit more, I have no rhythm, I have no moves, I have a lot of self-consciousness when it comes to which makes it far, far worse. Like, bad dancing is fine if you just kind of own it.
Like, do you dance at weddings and stuff?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do, but I've usually in a pretty good mood by the time that the dancing starts. So
a little less self-conscious.
A little less self-conscious. I am a dreadful dancer. Mark Davis, I have a better haircut than Mark Davis, but he's a better dancer than me.
And for those who haven't seen it, he's doing a lot of closed hands.
He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, no,
his hands are
and his
flat,
hips are,
and
everything
he's
is
moving them kind of
But
like a
I'm
robot.
getting, he's letting it, he's trying.
Yeah.
He's trying.
He's gotten encouragement. They're like,
Yeah.
Mark Davis. Yeah, anyway. Al?
I'm going to, yes, fact. Nobody is worse than Mark Davis in dancing, and I'm also going to answer for Travis. He's also fact. He's not worse than, nobody is worse than that performance.
John Ireland's worse. I've seen him dance at
No,
the Michael
even John,
Shots
I think.
fired.
I saw
Even-
it.
even-
John would own it too. I guarantee you.
Yeah, but I don't know. From what I saw in the short clip on X, I'm yes fact, and I think everybody else is
We
fact.
need Berg and Mark Davis to dance off. I want to see
no,
it. I
Berg-
mean, obviously,
come
Berg would
on.
obliterate
Berg's a
him.
good dancer.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Berg would be so much better, but I just want to see them in a dance off.
It is 1
yeah.
hour and 56 minutes if I left
Okay.
right now.
Okay, not bad.
By the way, that's not bad.
It ain't that. I'm
That's
just telling
not
you
bad.
right now.
Not
Yeah,
on
it adds,
wood.
it adds up as you could. Yeah.
At 1, it won't be that.
You'll see.
Okay.
Have to
Where are you
FaceTime
searching on? What are you searching on?
I'm doing ways.
Okay, so there's the leave later option.
Yep.
Check what time how much longer it'll take you by 1 o'clock.
Yep. Going to that right now.
Okay, Jorge, what do you think about this dancing?
I'm the same way. I need liquid courage to get on the dance floor. Brenda's tried teaching me how to dance. Like I got a hang of a little norteño. Like I need
Okay.
her. Like 'cause she's with me, and she lets me lead, and it helps.
That does help when you're with a partner,
Yes.
right? So you can kind of sway it, like you can, and they can kind of help you a little bit. But if you're just trying to freestyle it like Mark Davis, that's a death sentence. I got no chance.
Yeah, it would be a lot. All right, so DeAndre Swift and Terrell Edmonds were at the Phillies game. What was it, Wednesday night or Tuesday night?
Yeah,
I think
the
it's
most recent game.
Tuesday.
This week.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
So I'm going to play sound of them reacting at different points in times to the game that was happening in front of them.
First one, this going crazy. This is my first one too. Baseball season be so long, so long. How many games they got? Don't get me the line. I don't know. Maybe different cities down there every other day. A good song. He got everybody singing with it. Everybody know the song. That song probably gonna be in my head all night. Okay. You know, like in baseball, they switch pitchers every game. Yeah, because they can't pitch too many times in a row, right? There's so many little ins and outs with baseball I ain't know about. I said, if I ever played baseball, I don't want back. I don't want none of that. Put me in the outfield somewhere. You see what I'm saying, bro? That's 100 miles per hour. I'm gonna say a rep. I gotta say umpire, right? He a kid, ain't he? They the ball boys. Oh. I know he love his job, though, boy. No, hell yeah. Fun. Where they switch pitches again? Okay. I ain't no baseball games to survive like this though. I gotta come back to one of these for real.
All right, so they're having a great
That's
time.
awesome.
They were right behind home plate. There's more to that clip where they're like reacting to some home runs that they got to, but it seemed like they were having a great time. So this proves that baseball is the most fun playoffs to attend. Al, Factor Cap? Let me put this as a caveat: if your team is winning. If your team is winning, baseball is the most fun playoffs to attend.
Okay, I'm gonna go. If your team is winning, okay, I'll go fact then, because last year I was at Padres Phillies, and that was Game 2 down at the NLCS, and Padres went down 4-0 in like the first couple of innings. They played. It was one of those 1:15 first pitches, and every fly ball nobody could find. Okay, the sun was in everybody's way. Literally, it was a Snell game, and it was the most stressful. It was the most frustrating, and they ended up winning the game. I think 8-5. So they scored 8 runs from like let's say the third inning on, and me and cousin Slee. That was a really cool experience, only because they were winning. If I got no skin in the game. Give me an NFL playoff game. I'd rather go to a different event, but I think for that was as good as it gets.
Trev?
First of all, those guys are awesome. Like their enthusiasm for what they're seeing is so genuine, and it's so refreshing to get to watch a baseball game through a pair of eyes that they don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah. Good point.
And they're so like they're changing pitchers again.
They're like, that guy's going to second?
Right. As a baseball fan, you just kind of it's what they do. But as a novice, it's exciting to see them kind of try to figure it out on the fly. I love those guys. They should mic those guys up for more games. That was terrific. The answer is Cap to your question. The most exciting playoff to attend in person is NHL hockey. It is breathtaking.
I don't think I've ever been. Yeah, I don't think I've been to a playoff game.
Every time the puck is in your defensive end, you're holding your breath. Every time the puck is in the other guy's end, you're on the edge of your seat because goals happen out of nowhere. They don't like baseball. There's kind of an anticipation. Sometimes there's a home run, but okay, we got a guy to second base. You're building football. You build up to it. You're moving down the field. Hockey, nothing's happening there. Bam! It's in there, and it's like, place goes crazy, or it goes in. You're like, oh my god, we're gonna lose. There's
Especially
nothing.
with overtime.
Overtime is because the game's going to end on the next goal. There's nothing like a playoff hockey game.
Jorge?
Cap, there's nothing like a playoff final soccer match.
I believe it.
Nothing. Nobody expected Gareth Bale to do that in that late of a minute. The World Cup, 3-3. We go to penalty kicks, and it's just one game, win it all. Like, there's nothing more exciting than that.
A lot of drama.
But I like the fact that these guys are watching it without being on their phones.
It was great.
And then them calling them refs. Oh, it's not a ref, it's an umpire. Like that.
How many games do they play?
Yes, exactly.
That bad boy's having the time of his life.
Yeah. Way too many is the answer to that question.
Okay, also, I caught at the beginning of it. Do you guys know what a John is?
I mean, yes.
Okay, so
if we're talking about the same thing.
Well, so here's what it is. So John applies to anything and everything in Philadelphia. So you can say, oh, pass me that John means pass me that piece of paper. Pass me that pen. It can also be this John over here, referring to a person. You can also say, it literally is anything can be a John. And so when he said this John is doing great,
I
have
heard
no
that
idea
before.
who they're referring to. So I mean, old workplace at ESPN Network. Almost everybody there is from Philly, and I lived in Philly for 6 months. You pick up the little John a little bit. So, yeah, pass me that John over there.
Slee, what John are you drinking out of over there?
The John.
This John? Anyway, so I'm going to go with this one next. So I am a fan of Survivor. I'm watching this new season that's coming out right now. This is not a spoiler. Well, it is a little bit of a spoiler, but I'm not going to spoil everything. So not once but twice this season, someone has quit the game. So they just say, hey, they go to tribal council and they go, hey guys, vote me out. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to be somewhere else. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess so. And it's like very few times has someone quit on Survivor like that in like the 45 seasons that has happened. And they're always looked at as like really like the worst people to play Survivor are the people who quit because so many people want to do this. So you should not be able to quit a reality show that you sign up for. Jorge, Patrick Cap.
I think it depends on the situation. Like if it's an emergency, like you have to, like you really have to.
This is not it. They just want to not be there anymore.
Get out of there because they're not comfortable anymore. No, because you sign a contract for these things, right? Like you gotta sign a contract for this. So you shouldn't. Like you stick it out to the end. Do whatever you can just so you don't look like that person that quit. Do whatever you need to do in order for them to vote you out.
All right, Trev.
Let me stipulate before I answer. I don't give a damn. Number two, number two.
I wish I was second.
John doesn't give a damn.
Wish I could have gone before you did.
But no, I'm with, generally speaking, quitting sucks. If you agree to it, like if there's a crisis in your life and you need to go,
of course,
that's different. But if you say, I will sign up for this game for 4 months or however, how long does it take him?
It's 40 days.
Okay, 40 days, and I get it.
This is day 9.
Yeah, no, if you sign up for 40 days, you can't pull the plug after day 9 because you're just not having a good time.
Right, exactly. Al?
I'm going to go Cap on this one. There's certain things in life you should not quit. I'm not going to hold my standard to somebody quitting in a reality TV show. I get the principle of it.
So many people want to be on that show. Sign up for years to be on that show.
Make a better audition tape.
I'm not telling you that I don't know, that I'm going to do the exact same thing, but a reality TV show, if you're quitting on that, I don't know. That doesn't really do it for me. Yep.
So I'm going to start to sprinkle that in. You got to tell me if I'm using it right or not.
I would love
it. Sounds like you could use it anywhere.
You can use it for literally anything. But you got to say it like this John. Like you got to have some sauce on it.
This John.
On the next Jean. Is he French? Is it like
Jean Morin?
Right.
Will Jean Morin return?
Yeah, that John Morant.
Yeah. Juan Soto, is he a John or not?
Jean.
Where's that John going to play on this next John? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. The Jean in Fontana, Rotolo Chevrolet, right? ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com online. If you're looking for that new Silverado, they got you covered. Every make and model that you can think of. You're looking for that new Chevy car or truck, they got you covered at Rotolo Chevrolet. And what they only have at Rotolo is the best customer service you've ever experienced in your life. 13 years in a row of Dealer of the Year. Think about that. Think about 13 MVPs, 13 championships. That's what they got at Rotolo. 13 years in a row because they take care of people. People come back. People tell their friends, and they tell theirs, and then it just goes from there. This is what they do all day, every day, making sure that they're courteous, that they're transparent, that they're upfront, that they're efficient, so you feel good about it, right? When was the last time that you felt great about that kind of purchase? Probably not unless you've been in Rotolo Chevrolet pretty recently, because that's what they do. From Mike Capozio, who you see on TV, right on down to everybody inside that store. I've experienced it myself, and it's all true. If you're looking for that new Chevy, Rotolo Chevrolet, right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, a couple of rights, and you're right there. Every Silverado you could ever imagine. They're going to take care of you, and tell them that Travis sent you. It's a good question, Al. Al asked me if I stopped at a specific place near my house.
Yeah, you were telling a story a week ago,
I don't like to... I told the story a week or so ago where I stopped to get something to eat and I completely overdid it.
Fast food action.
Yeah, it was a big mistake. Mm-hmm. I only do that away from my home area. I don't need somebody in my community seeing me do that.
Yeah.
Because that would reflect poorly upon the Rogers family in our neighborhood.
The only thing you do around your community is like farmers markets.
Good Sprouts, Whole Foods.
Guys, come on. Do you know who you're talking to here? And then 3 miles inland, you're at KFC.
You just inspired me. I just had a moment where I need to go back to the farmers market in Dana Point because they had. Remember when I bought all the salsas and get the Jean. By the way, now that I know the word, I thought you meant like Jonathan, like Jonathan Taylor, John.
Yeah.
Not it's John like yawn.
Or Dawn.
Or Dawn, right? Anyway, I forgot what I was talking. Oh,
Yes.
I need to go back to the
Farmers
salsa
market.
lady at the farmer's
tamales.
market, and because I can kind of reconstitute the remaining items that I have left. I can
Have you
bring them
ever-
back.
Okay,
to life.
you're
Tried to
coming.
make your
What's
own?
Thursday? You're coming to the end there.
Right. Well, now I just got to get another
Finish
taco
it off
guy.
today.
Bring in another 30 people's worth of tacos with 10 people there.
Finish it off today.
Let's do it again.
How long would it last? How long does that stuff last? Do you think? If you could you eat it the week after? You think?
I
would have gone
leftover
freezer
guy.
action.
But see,
I would have if I have that much food left over and I know I'm not going to finish it during the week.
going you're
top
probably
shelf.
right.
Yeah.
But once something goes into the freezer in my house, it very rarely comes back out. You know what I mean? It's just it's 10 years later. It's like what? No, I don't even know what it is. It's covered with all the frost and everything else. Who never eats it?
I take that frost. I start
I'm
warming it up.
like the taco guy stuff. I'll give you 4 days on that. I think that's about right.
Yeah, as long as it's not the whole week on anything. I feel
No.
like is when you're like, yeah, I can't do that.
And like the carne asada and the pastor and all that. If it's just the meat, I feel better than if there's multiple ingredients. Like I don't know what's in there.
Always toss it on the pan again, get a little crispy again too. If you ever needed it.
Yeah.
True.
There's
With the
nothing
rice.
left.
Get that John.
There's still a lot of rice and beans left in that fridge. I'm
Lot.
just letting y'all know.
That fridge has got a lot going on.
I'm just
in there.
saying, when I leave today, that's going in the garbage. I'm not going to be the guy that leaves it there. That's it. It's so if you're so you hit it yesterday.
I hit it yesterday like multiple times, and I'm
Basically,
good
you
now.
have until 1:15 until Trav says it's
112.
112.
112 for sure. You were talking about Juan Soto. You were reading something about what the Padres are going to do with him.
I got a question for you on this. So we know what happened to the Padres season, and they're in they're in an interesting spot in the offseason. You got Blake Snell. He's going to end up somewhere else. They're not going to pay him. Why am I drawing him? Oh, Josh Hader. They're not going to pay him as well. So the real question is for the Padres is, do you keep Soto or do you trade him? And there was an article in The Athletic. Jim Bowden was the one that wrote the piece, and it basically says, look, there's 5 potential trade destinations that if you're the Padres, you can trade him to one of these spots. And a lot of the spots that are on that top 5 list are also teams that we have kind of heard the Otani chatter about.
Okay.
Otani could potentially sign with that team or this team. And what I was mentioning to you, and I don't think the Padres are going to do this, and I don't think they should do this. You basically traded for Juan Soto because your hope was you're going to get 3 postseason runs. One you already got. You got to the NLCS. The second one clearly did not happen. You won 82 games. Sadly enough, 84 would have got you in the playoffs,
Crazy.
but they didn't get in. And
That's shocking to stop.
Shocking.
Like just
Shocking.
1 week in April, you play a little bit better and you're in.
How about
That's
don't
it.
lose 5 of 6 to Pittsburgh this year, and you're in.
Yeah.
But I just the reason why I use that as an example is because I think they're going to eventually keep him. And I think they're going to try as best as they can to make the postseason. The owner of the Padres, Peter Seidler, is clearly, who, by the way, is continuing to deal with health, has had his fair share of health setbacks, I guess you want to call them. So he's doing everything he can. He wants to try to win in this window that the Padres have. Let's say Soto does get traded. Look at the teams that Jim Bowden put on this list, and you tell me how you're going to, if you're the Dodgers and you want to this offseason, go for Shohei Otani. I think you're taking off one of these teams off the list if they end up getting Juan Soto, because I don't know how you're going to afford both of these dudes. Yankees are number 1 on the list that if he gets traded, there's a good chance that he goes to a team like the Yankees. Okay? Not a surprise or a shock there. Number 2 is Boston.
Okay.
We were reading an article a week ago that the Red Sox, because of the relationship with New Balance, because New Balance and Shohei Otani, they might be the front runners of this whole thing for Shohei.
Could be.
If Juan Soto was to get traded in the offseason to the Boston Red Sox, you think they're still on the list for Shohei Otani?
Yeah, but now they're further down the list.
Think about
It's
that.
less of a priority, sure.
Okay, if the Yankees traded, do you think the Shohei Otani conversation ends there?
No, I don't. Not for the Yankees.
So then they're probably the only team, because number 3 on that list was the Mariners. If the
No, they can't
Mariners
have
got
both.
Juan Soto,
Can't have
they're
both.
not getting Shohei Otani. And the only other team that was on that list, I think it's worth the conversation, but I don't think the Padres would do this. I don't think you're trading within your division, is the San Francisco Giants. But the Giants are another team that we've heard rumored around Shohei.
So, okay, but there's two parallel things going on here. I think that the Mariners and Giants could do both if you're just renting Soto. If you're basically saying, hey, listen, we're going to take a shot.
Sure, you don't
at
have
this
to
thing.
pay him yet.
We're going to take a shot at this
pay
thing.
Yep.
We'll do it. Here's our prospects. We've already signed Shohei. Now we're going to trade for Soto, and it's literally we got Shohei locked up to whatever contract ultimately he gets, which is probably at the low end, $450-500 million. But I'm not going to pay you, but I am going to acquire you for
1 year,
a run, and see what happens. I think that there is that, but the only teams that I think could have an opportunity to deal for Soto, sign him to a long-term extension, and also be a legit player in the Otani sweepstakes are the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Mets. That's it. I think maybe
the Red Sox,
Cubs. I don't even.
You don't think the Boston?
They let Bogarts leave over money.
Sure.
They let Mookie leave over
money.
money.
Well, the Bogarts thing they let leave over money for good reason.
Fine.
The Mookie thing might go down as one of the worst trades in the history of Major League Baseball.
They clearly have economics as one of their deciding factors in who to go and get, just based on the fact that they've let some good players leave.
Yeah.
We could argue about the Bogarts deal is a bad deal, but somebody did it.
Sure.
Right? So I don't know if that is necessarily a place where it could go. I think what this all comes down to, and this is where I am as a Dodger fan, Otani's got to go first, right? And so players become a free agent. The World Series ends, next day, players are free agents. 5 days after that, you can start signing with new teams. If you're the Dodgers, the Mets, the Padres, the Giants, the Mariners, all these teams that we at least assume Boston are in the Otani sweepstakes, you almost have to wait for him to make his call, because if I get him, now whatever I have left is far less for most of these teams. And if I don't get him, I had this $300, $400, $500 million budget allocated to try to get him. Well, he's over there now. Now what do I do? Do I go, have you ever done that thing? Funny story. I won't put his name on it. A buddy of mine was trying to buy this house. Okay. And he got to like the 1 yard line on this house that he'd had his eye on for a long time, saved up all his money and all these things. And the last minute it fell through. Somebody else outbid him for the house and he didn't get it. And he basically had you know what? F it. I'm going to go buy a new car. And went and bought a car that he didn't want, didn't need. No. A year later, he's like, it's the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. That I didn't get what I wanted, and he turned around and he bought a car. You wonder if a team does something like that with a player like Soto. And not that Soto's a bum car, but I wanted that. I didn't get it, but I have all this money. You know what? Give me that instead. You wonder if that's part of it.
I'll give you a baseball example. I think that happened last offseason. The Padres went after Aaron Judge, and then they went after Trey Turner, and then settled on Xander Bogaerts. That we didn't get the guys that we wanted, but we want to spend this money. Let's go spend it. I don't think Soto will fit into that, because I know exactly what you're saying. The Soto, what he turned down 400 plus with the Nationals, something like that. He's going to get his money.
He is.
I don't think I think ultimately this story is a good story. I don't think the Padres will trade him.
Otani,
unless they trade
first.
him during the season before the trade deadline, because they're out of the mix.
That I think is the more interesting thing for both because the Padres should play it out.
I think they will
run it back. Let's see what happens. I still think they were a pretty good team last year, even though they weren't. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
They had one of the highest run differentials in Major League Baseball and still ended up with 82 wins.
What was that game where you put all the sticks through the cylinder and you put all the marbles and you pull out the sticks and you'd like the marbles until the last one and they'd all come running out? You guys remember that
forgot.
game?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. I don't
It's
know
like a giant test tube. You put all the sticks through the test tube.
Yeah.
Then you fill it with marbles and you take turns pulling the sticks out until all the marbles run out.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Otani's the last stick, right? Otani's the stick that makes all the other pieces come flowing out. The Otani, I'm a genius, is what it is. We're doing our draft next. What's the name of the new movie, Em?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yep.
Killers of the Flower Moon comes out today.
Yes.
Our favorite DiCaprio movies next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
right, so this is the soundtrack for Killers of the Flower Moon. It comes out today. It's the new Martin Scorsese film. It stars Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's their first movie together with Scorsese. And Leonardo DiCaprio plays Ernest Burkhart, and he is one of the main characters in this film. So we are going to draft all Leo movies.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And the order is Jorge
Allen.
getting
a lot of number
Yep.
ones. Is this just me?
Yeah,
It's a lot.
When you have the guys back there picking for me, come on, we have a system.
Yeah,
it's DeAndre, it's Man Camp Parker.
Yeah.
And it's Carlo.
They're all pro Jorge. So it's Jorge, Allen, Emily, Travis. We're picking 3 each. 12 total, because that's all we can fit on the graphic, right, guys?
There you go.
All right, so Jorge.
I looked something up real quick, Ev,
Okay.
before you start. I was just take a ballpark guess. How many billions of dollars do you think DiCaprio films have grossed at the box office?
Think about Titanic and how much money Titanic made.
Right.
Let's go.
You said billions?
It's in the billions.
10.
I'll give you, okay?
12.
Okay.
Say 15.
It's 8. That feels oddly low. Like, I mean, it's 8
What a
billion.
loser.
That's what I mean. It's a ridiculous thing to say, but the Titanic felt like it grossed 50 billion
I know.
on its own.
Right, but then you got to count in some of the other ones probably didn't
Yeah.
do as commercially well, even though they had a lot of award
Yeah.
success.
All right,
He
anyway.
still is one of the best of his great generation.
Is that net or gross?
Jorge.
All right, shout out to my buddy Richard who's watching. He's one of his Leo's movie fan
Okay.
of his movies.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with my number one pick. Is gonna be 2016, The Revenant, and that was the Alejandro González Iñárritu won the Oscar for directing, and Leo won it for Best Actor in the leading role. So.
It was like the final time
Yes.
that he got it. Like
Yes.
everyone was like, okay, Leo has to get it.
Badass
for
movie.
this
Revenant.
one.
Oh, he
Great,
got
great
attacked by the
movie.
bear.
He
Oh,
sleeps in
Great,
the
great
bear.
movie. Yep.
Yes, he sleeps in the bear. Yeah.
Really
The Revenant.
relaxing watch.
Yeah, but I usually watch it when I'm stressed out.
Yeah,
to
just
calm
something that
my
just
nerves.
easy watching.
Yeah, about that one, I've never seen it again. I've only seen it once because
a
that's
lot.
all I needed to see.
It's a lot.
And it's
Yeah.
one of those things where you're like, I got it, Leo.
Yeah.
Like, you can get your Oscar now.
Right.
But it is a well-done film for that one. So, Alan, your first pick.
Okay, so we got a lot of options to choose from. I'm going to go with it's star-studded. You can't get any more great actors in it, but Departed
Great choice.
is my number one. That was the... There's some movies
Not a
where it's going to
co-op.
be... There's some movies that's more just about DiCaprio, but this one is just such a good one, such a classic. Departed is my number one.
All right, interesting. I'm very happy that this one landed on me because I think that this is by far his best performance of all time. I think he should have won the Oscar for this. He was snubbed for this one, and that's why I think they had to give it for him for The Revenant, which I don't think is his best performance, but Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street, another Scorsese film, absolutely amazing. Gave us Margot Robbie in a big way, but Leo,
Sure did.
Leo himself in that movie was incredible,
Yeah.
even though the person that he depicted was despicable.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he plays a lot of bad guys,
Yes.
as
Yeah.
it turns. And
Yep.
he's sometimes he's the hero, and sometimes he's a real scumbag. So I got a pair here.
You
Em?
get two.
Okay. I'm going to take this movie. It's not his best movie ever, but it's the movie that made me kind of turn in the positive direction toward Leo. I was not a Leo fan for no good reason. I'm like, he's too handsome. He's a pretty
Teeny
boy.
bopper.
All these a teeny bopper. Like, not for me. And then I saw Blood Diamond, and I'm like, that guy's awesome. Like, I really like him. I should probably see. And basically everything I've ever seen him in since has been money. Like, he's just terrific.
He rarely misses.
Yeah, so I'm going to take Blood Diamond with my number one. I got a couple. I mean, do I just go mainstream box office? Do
The
you
ones
go
you
with
want.
something that
The ones
I
you
like?
want.
Go which one you like the most. I think
Yeah.
that's the best for you for your list.
Catch Me If You Can.
All right, great.
I'm going to go with that because I like. And
They
it's
should have
a-
went box office.
It's a very specific reason. Here's what I like. That movie, a good portion of it is set in 1960s LA. I like things that are set in LA. I wasn't born in the 60s, but close enough to where it kind of takes you back to that time. So I'll take Catch Me If You Can.
And it's a great movie
It is
to
a good
watch.
movie.
It's him and Tom Hanks.
It's the exact opposite of The Revenant.
Yeah.
It's entirely, you can drop in at any time,
Super
watch it
rewatchable.
whenever you want. No matter where you're in, you're excited to kind of, oh, this is the part where he recruits the flight attendants or whatever. It's terrific.
And it's also one of those things where like it's a true story, but it's almost too good to be true. You know, obviously they embellished, obviously, but
And Jennifer Garner's in it. Just throwing that out there too.
one of your gals. I am gonna go with the box office guy. So I'm gonna go with the one that speaks the most to me. How I was introduced to Leo as a young girl. This movie actually came out the year I was born. And we used to have the 2 box sets because it was too long because you
Yep.
had the 2 VHS box
Intermission,
sets. It was great. So I'm going to go with Titanic.
Never
as
heard
my
of it.
second pick.
Never heard of it. Okay, I'm a little
But
surprised.
one small thing. Could
Yeah.
he have fit on that door? Do you think that he should have been able to fit on that door?
Yes, Rose is a bad guy.
Al?
I'm gonna. This one kind of falls. It's actually one of my favorite movies that I've watched. He is definitely. You know, you said he's got some roles where you definitely don't like him. Yeah, this would fall under that category. Django.
Great.
Django.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure Django was going to come this far. The fact that it did, we're taking good movies. Shows you how many good movies he has. That's my number 2.
All right. Jorge, you got 2.
By the way, the music in Django. Basically, I wanted to pause the movie and just keep playing the music at times. It was so good. I think it was Rick Ross that did most of it.
All right, with my what's the second pick? I'm gonna take Inception.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Inception. The way he plays the hurt father, he has to hide the fact that he's running from his wife. Just the different levels that his character has to be portrayed in is just amazing. I
He's
like the
great
movie.
in that movie.
Yes.
I still don't get that movie at all. Like, I still don't know what the hell it is.
I
It's
think you're
cool.
like supposed to not
It's
get it.
like I liked it. Like I remember, like what was that about? I don't know. I just remember enjoying it.
It's about dreams inside dreams.
That's what I mean. It's like
It's
two
three
multi-layered.
different dreams.
Yeah.
And then you don't know if he's back to reality or
Right.
he's still stuck in a dream. But yeah,
I think he was
Inception.
in reality. All right, Jorge, your third pick.
Inception, and then my last one is one of my favorites for sure. It's Gangs of New York. You know, the way
Good one.
the butchers and against, you know, just the way, it's just a pretty dope movie. So Gangs of New York's my last pick.
Al?
Okay, this is early in his career, and I think I just watched the movie. I might have watched it during COVID, within the last couple of years. What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome performance. Awesome movie. Johnny Depp in it as well. That's my number 3.
All right, I'm going to do my last pick. So I am stuck between 2 that I'm really interested in. I'm stuck between one that is a movie that is such a mind you-know-what that in the end it took me by such surprise. But I like the writing more than maybe his performance, but his performance is fantastic. Or do I go with a movie that I loved?
Go with the
when
one
it
you
came out?
loved.
I want to be well-rounded.
I'm going to tell you. You can say them both because I guarantee you what I'm going to pick is neither of these
Okay,
two.
I'm going to pick Shutter Island.
Okay.
That's my third pick. And that was the one that's the mind, you know what?
Yeah.
But my other one was going to be The Great Gatsby.
Okay.
And I was on the fence about picking that one, but I think I just didn't do it enough for me. All right, your last pick, Trav.
So the only other like mainstream movie that I was considering that's on my list that hasn't already been taken was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought he was great in that.
Yep.
It's kind of the washed up guy,
Yep.
which is another great role for him. Brad Pitt
And a
really
great
good in
meme.
that
And
movie.
he
Right.
whistles.
Yeah, exactly. That's not my pick. So you thought you went early DiCaprio. You didn't go early enough. I want the television series Growing Pains, which he was on for like one season. At the very end, when the show was just completely done, like everybody, it's a TV sitcom where the kids grew up, and it's like, okay, what do we do now? We'll introduce the cute new adopted kid or whatever, the visiting cousin or what they go into it again. It's either a pregnancy or the new thing.
Luke Brower.
He was on Growing Pains, a network
That's funny.
sitcom, and I remember watching it as a kid going, this guy's a better actor than everybody else on the show. What's going on? And he was like 11. So I get Growing Pains as my my final choice.
One
I like
that I had that I was also thinking about picking as another like literature-based one, but it's the Romeo plus Juliet with him and Claire Danes, and he played Romeo. That's great, but I only watched it in school. You know, I didn't watch it because I wanted to watch it.
Okay, can I have a guess because I was too old to experience it when you were in high school, like you're saying, but there was always that one English teacher when you're going through your Shakespeare, unit in your English class, and every high school kid's eyes roll into the back of their head when they make you read Shakespeare. And like, but your cool English teacher goes, well, let me show you this.
The Romeo plus Juliet.
Right, Romeo plus Juliet is said in their gangs. Ooh, right? It's like, no, it still sucks.
Not the original one, which was like the 1960 version or whatever.
Which
but
problematic,
I also
by the way, it turns out.
And did you see This Boy's Life?
No, I have not.
Okay, so Travis and I didn't. I know nothing about that movie, but we were looking at the rankings before. him and De Niro. I didn't even know they're in a movie together.
Oh,
at
he's the
least
abusive
that
father,
movie
right?
together.
Yeah, I think
exactly.
the reason why Killers of the Flower Moon is so important is it's Scorsese, De Niro, and Leo, and it's like essentially Scorsese's two muses together in one movie, and that's why it's
How
so
many
important.
Rolling Stone songs will we get in this movie? Because if it's a
many.
Scorsese movie, you're getting the Stones.
Hey, he's one of the first directors to really popularize popular music in film and like how it's used, which is great. But yes, lots of "Gimme Shelter" in every single one.
Basketball Diaries is another one.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's probably the one that we didn't put in
Right.
there.
It's no growing pains, but it's
no
pretty,
growing pains.
It's pretty good. Look,
Have you guys seen Shutter Island?
I have not.
Go. I think it's just for the plot twist.
Let me ask you an important question. Have you seen Growing Pains?
No.
He held his own against Alan Thicke, Emily. What do you want from
What do you
somebody?
want?
Tracy Gold. He blew her off the screen. What are you going to do? All right, the Rams have a oddly important game for Week 7. It's kind of It may be the game that decides whether they go to the playoffs or not. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
What's up, Niner fans? Join me, producer Jorge, at Hollywood Park Casino Monday night at 5 p.m. for Monday Night Football as our Niners take on the Vikings, and you'll get 3 shots to win $1 million on our $1 Million Monday contest. And just bring your ponchos, bring your flags, bring all your swag, and let's go, baby! Niners, Niner gang, baby!
Hey guys, it's producer Lindsay Baseball, and guess what? Thursday Night Football has a brand new home, and it's the 909 Sports Bar at Yamava Resort and Casino. Join me and the 710 Fun Games Department every Thursday night for a party. I will be giving away $1,000 cash every Thursday night. So, this Thursday from 4 to 7 at the 909 Sports Bar, win cash and watch football with me, producer Lindsay Baseball. Or maybe they should call me Lindsay Football. See you there.
This album, during the entire movie, I'm like, I need Shazam right now. I don't think Shazam was created at that point.
Emily, thoughts on him using Shazam?
No, Shazam is fine.
Okay.
I think it's just as long as you don't use it at a concert. Because people did that before where they're like at a concert and they're like, I don't know this person, and then Shazam it.
Well, that's what Siri does. Like when you say, hey, Siri, what song is this? It's Shazam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It
Shazam
does use that.
I thought she'd have much stronger opinions on Shazam.
No,
I'm a
Shazam
little
is helpful,
disappointed.
guys.
I thought we were treading into, I should
Wait,
say,
here's the
Pandora situation. Exactly.
One
right.
of two things could have happened. She could have said, hey, it's all good, Shazam, yeah, use it. Educate yourself on an artist that you don't know or a song you don't know. Or she could have said, Al, Shazam went bankrupt 9 years ago, and you're the only one that has it, and I would have said, okay. I would have no idea either way.
I do not have it on my phone anymore, but yeah, I think it's helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of Siri. Say, Siri, what song is this? And it's Shazam. It is.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
What song is playing right now?
Well, nothing right now. But so after we do our Dana Hills football games, we go to this bar that has live music, and it's local musicians. So they're doing covers for the most part.
Yeah.
Some are better than others.
Right.
Let's just put it that way. And my wife and I and, Greg Fisher, my spotter on Dana Hills football, will go and have a few drinks. And they play it's 80s music for the most part. So we're trying to identify the artist because and sometimes none of us can get it. So I try to Shazam it, but they're not playing it quite right. So Shazam is kind of it's like a 1 out of 5 success rate. Otherwise, it's trying harder. Ooh, this is a hard one. Continuing to listen, and then just like, nah, dude,
we can't find it. I'm like, okay, I'm not staring at my phone here.
By the way, so you're talking about how when we talk about Otani, that Otani is like the last stick in that game that you're playing. It's called Kerplunk.
That's it.
That's what everyone was trying to jog your memory about.
That's
so,
it.
Kerplunk.
Thank you. Whoever sent that in, Kerplunk. I like that game. It had the little.
It's from Mailman Matt.
Mailman Matt, thank you for Kerplunk. And Slee, Jorge, I'm disappointed in all three of you for not. I kind of put it on the tee. I wanted to see if anybody would do it.
Yeah.
I took Blood Diamond first because Jennifer Connelly's in the movie. I was hoping that
I've
one
never
of you,
seen it. So.
Blood Diamond's good.
Yeah.
But he didn't see Blood Diamond because of DiCaprio, so that's why I almost thought he wore the diamonds. I thought it was canceled.
What I said was true. Blood Diamond was the movie that made me go, "Oh, that dude's awesome." But I didn't watch it to take in DiCaprio's performance. I watched it because Jennifer Connelly's the female lead. And I'm like, Susan's like, what do you want to watch? Blood Diamond? I'm like, yeah, that looks great. Yeah, let's watch that.
Family
Whenever
movie.
you like something, I have to then look at what brunette woman is starring in that movie, and then I'm like, oh, that's why Travis wanted to watch it.
Don't sleep on redheads either, Em.
Sure,
they're on
brunettes
the list
and
as
redheads,
well.
and I'll keep it in mind.
That's
We
right.
got a lot of tweets hitting on what you said, Basketball Diaries.
Yeah.
That's another one that is we didn't put it on our list because he didn't have room because he took growing pains. But that should have been probably on our top.
Growing Pains is the reason I didn't start DiCaprio films earlier in my life because I'm like, the kid from Growing Pains is in a movie. Give me a break.
It's like kind of like downplaying someone who like was on Disney Channel,
Right.
but then they might be a really talented
Like
actor.
Ryan
but
Gosling, right?
Okay, Austin Butler was on Disney Channel.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Did he have his fake Southern accent then?
No, he did not. And that's why everyone's like, oh, it's fake because he was on, and he was also on Nickelodeon.
But why did he continue to do the Elvis accent when he was done shooting Elvis?
I don't know, Travis. I really
Does that not bother you the way it bothers me?
It does bother me. And also, he's going to be in the new movie Dune 2, so it's already been filmed and everything. And I'm just so in Dune 2, obviously it's like otherworldly. It's on another planet. I am just wondering if he has that accent.
Well, that's
in
what I
that
mean.
movie.
Like, he did pretty good Elvis. Like, you got the voice down, the accent. Cool, I get it. You're playing a character who had a very distinctive speaking style. You got to try to emulate it.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Rap party's done. You go back. He's from like Costa Mesa.
Yeah, he's from like Orange County. I thought. Yeah, he has something there.
What?
So,
Yes.
There's an area of Costa Mesa where everyone
They call it
speaks
the Memphis
like that.
of OC.
All of everybody from Tupelo, Mississippi migrated to Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
You're disrespecting a lot of this community in Costa Mesa.
My grandfather grew up in Mississippi, born in Meridian, Mississippi, and then went to school in Little Rock, Arkansas, and didn't move to Los Angeles until he went to SC in like 1930 something, right?
Uh-huh.
He didn't have a Southern accent. And this guy pretended to be Southern for
this
5
is
minutes
why he didn't
and
have an
can't
accent.
get rid of it.
He didn't have an accent because he moved to LA and he moved specifically to USC. If he was at the community in Costa Mesa, there would have been a thick accent that you would actually also have as well.
I would assume that when he came to Los Angeles, he probably did, but by being immersed in a non-Southern accent community, it goes away.
Right.
Not for Austin Butler.
In that community.
By the way, there is actually going to be another Elvis movie coming out this year. It's called Priscilla. It's about Priscilla's story. It's from Sofia Coppola.
Actually, I saw that
and
preview yesterday.
Yeah, Jacob Elordi, who's from Euphoria, is going to play Elvis, and he is, I believe, either Australian or English. So it's going to be interesting.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of previews in the last 2 days.
As long as when he's done and he goes back to Melbourne or wherever he's from, he doesn't sound like he's from Elvis country.
Did you also see Saltburn? What were your trailers? Did you see Saltburn as a trailer, Alan?
Saltburn, no.
Okay.
No, did not.
That one's
see
also a good
Saltburn.
one with also Jacob Elordi. Jacob Elordi is my Jennifer Connelly. I will watch anything with Jacob
Fair.
Elordi in it.
That look, we've all got what we like, right? It's cool. Whatever you like, if you like it, I love it. Right. I like Jennifer Connelly and Jenna Fisher and Jennifer Garner and a few others. It's just how it goes. All right, Rams have the Steelers, Week 7. The Rams, and we'll do our picks here coming up in a little bit, but the Rams are 3-point favorites going into this one. So, whatever. That's the 3 points for home field. I guess it's more like 1.5 or 2 typically now. There's going to be more Steeler fans there than there are Rams fans. Whatever. That's old territory.
Again, have yellow towels,
Yellow
Rams.
towels, for sure. They need to win this game. If they win this game, the path to 9 wins is you don't have to squint to find it. You can find they'll be 4-3. They got to find 5 more wins over the course of the season. I think you can find them. You've got the Cardinals again. You've got the New York Giants. You've got the Seahawks coming to your building. You've got the Washington Commanders coming to L.A. There's a path to get to 9 that's not crazy. Lose this one, and it gets a lot more complicated to find that 9th win along the way. Kenny Pickett is not good, but he makes like 1 or 2 plays a game that make the difference.
If it's close.
TJ Watt is awesome.
Steelers' defense is awesome.
You don't have a running game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're literally pulling guys off the street like Darrell Henderson. You're elevating guys from the practice squad, which means pass protection could be a problem along the way. You may or may not have Kobe Durant, who got in some trouble over the week. So they're trying to figure out whether or not he's going to play.
Darren Kendrick?
I'm sorry. Thank you. Darren Kendrick. Thank you. So you have that going on defense. You have the running back situation going on offense. And you still got to find a way to win this, because if you don't, that 9th win is tough to find.
Cassie, when you say you got to find a way to win this, is the goal as simple as this? Are they just trying to get to the playoffs? Is that all we're talking about?
I think so.
The rest of the way, you're 3-3 right now. I think both of you and I talked. Mace was sitting here as well. We're doing one of our Super Cross talks before the season started, and the conversation was, can you be 3-3 after 6 games? And if you could be 3-3, then something. Okay, you might have lost against teams you were supposed to lose against. You probably beat some teams that you were supposed to beat, but what you didn't want is a 2-4 start, and you also didn't believe they're going to be 4-2. We talk about windows. What windows are you in? They're not in a window of saying this is it. They're all in. They're one of the few teams that got a true chance to win a Super Bowl. So I set all that up because the game against the Steelers this weekend, is this purely based on you're just trying to get into the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
That's all you're trying to do. Whatever happens from there happens from there. That, I think, falls into what makes this game so critical. So if the goal is just get to the postseason and see if you have more wins than you have losses when it's all said and done, knowing that the NFC is it's not the way it used to be in the sense that there's not 8 or 10 teams that are like, I have no idea who's – you got your the cream of the crop up top, and then you got a lot of average teams after that.
3 good teams, and then who knows?
But you got 7 spots.
Right.
So that's kind of the good thing. If they do end up losing this game against the Steelers, it wouldn't be a shock or a surprise or anything, but it does become one of those games that you look at from a critical perspective. You win this one, you're right where you need to be to make the playoffs. I don't want to add anything to that because I don't think there really is anything after that.
I don't think so either. I think making the playoffs with this group coming into the season is a success.
It's a good season.
Whatever happens after that, gravy.
House money.
Right, gravy. But you've got a bunch of 50-50 games coming up, and maybe not even 50-50, maybe 60-40 the wrong way. You got Dallas and Green Bay both on the road in the next 2 weeks.
Dallas will be a tough game. I know we're both not crazy about the team. That's a tough game.
It is a tough game.
Green Bay,
same.
Winnable.
Winnable, yes, but you won't be favored, right? This
more
is
winnable than Dallas.
I think they're about the same in my estimation. Green Bay plays a lot of close games.
Green Bay.
Yeah, well, I think I've seen enough Dallas to know that they're kind of hot and cold.
Yeah.
You've got Seattle at home. I think that's a 50-50-er, right? You've got the Cleveland Browns coming to town. With that defense, I don't know. You've got the New Orleans Saints. Maybe that's a little bit more favorable than not. But I think the Steelers game is one of the few that you have in front of you. You say, we need to win that game.
That team has big holes.
They have big. They're vulnerable to some things that you need to take advantage of. There are the Giants. You feel like you have to win the Giants game. You probably need to win the New Orleans game. This is in that category. If you're getting to 9, because Green Bay and Dallas, I think it's far more likely they lose both than win both. I think maybe
because
one
the home
and one.
field advantage is a big thing.
And both of those teams aren't bad. They're not great, but they're not bad.
Can you play this out for me? Let's say they lost. Let's say they won one of the let's say they lost to Pittsburgh, and then they won one of the Dallas and Green Bays. Still get to 9?
I think you're behind. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think you do too.
I don't think so. I think you're still behind. Hopefully.
So basically, you're saying no, because so you basically got to win 2 of the next 3.
I think you have to win this one. I think you can still get to 9 even if you lose the next 2. But if you lose this one and lose the next 2, I think you're in.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the end of the line. Hopefully, JD and El Segundo can clean this up for me. What's going on, JD?
What's up, Trev? How y'all doing?
All right.
All right. Did I hear you say your grandfather was from Meridian, Mississippi?
Yes, sir.
I'm originally from Mississippi, from a small town called West Point. We're about an hour north from there.
Okay.
And I wanted to see if you can tell if I had a Southern accent.
Not really, no.
I could tell more,
Okay,
JD, when you were on with me because you talked a little bit more, so I could suss it out.
Maybe a little.
Okay.
How long have you been in LA, JD?
I've been bouncing back and forth between LA and Dallas for like the last 5 years.
Okay. The more I hear you talk, the more I'm hearing it, but it's not like my grandfather had none. Now, granted, he'd been in LA 50 years by the time I was aware enough to listen to it. When you go home, do you fall back into it?
Oh, when I go home, you can barely understand me. I'm falling right in with my family.
JD, you don't even have to go home. There's a community in Costa Mesa that you can hang out in that area.
Did you say Tupelo, Mississippi, Slee?
What's that?
Did you say Tupelo, Mississippi?
No,
I heard
no,
you
no.
mention it, but I think I tuned in too late.
No. I just was making fun of the Costa Mesa piece of all
That's where
this.
Austin Butler's from.
JD, you've called in and talked about Love is Blind before, so I want to see what is your thoughts on Love is Blind so far? How far have you gotten? Have you finished the season?
Honestly, I haven't watched another episode since the last time we talked, only because you guys kept talking about Sopranos, and I finally decided to watch it, and I haven't stopped since.
Oh, how far are you into it?
I just watched the episode where Camilla finally slept with the teacher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, it gets.
How many seasons is it?
Like 6.
But they're like shorter seasons than like 24. They're like 12 episode seasons, JD. You got this.
You'll get there easy.
love
You'll
it,
be
man.
done by the end of next week. How many are you taking
What
down a
episode
day?
is Jorge on?
I'm on episode 6, season 1.
Jorge's been on episode 6 for a week and a half.
Man.
I binged it this weekend. I went through like 3 seasons.
In one weekend?
Jeez.
One weekend.
My goodness.
I took it Emily style.
That's commitment.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
That's commitment.
Emily style.
JD, before you leave, how do you say family?
Family?
Okay,
Yeah, see,
not like
Brian.
family.
Yeah, not like why
No,
can't I have
no,
Brian
no.
Kelly, right? Yeah, not like
Now,
Brian
my
Kelly.
wife is originally from Louisiana, and she's a lot more country than I am.
No, Louisiana's its own thing, man. That's I ran into a lot of Louisiana folks when I was living in Houston. There's a lot of Louisiana
A little
transplants.
French in there.
There's the Cajun, there's the Creole, there's the French, there's the Southern. It's all of it. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, and Trev, I don't like the way you give Houston a bad rap, man. I'll be honest.
What did I say?
You don't like Houston. I understand. You worked there for a while. You and now John worked in Beaumont.
John was in
Houston
Beaumont.
cool, man. The dating scene was cool. I lived there for a short time. I had a good
Stop
time.
coming at Houston.
No, I liked the people of Houston. I just didn't like Houston, if that makes sense.
I
Like
guess
parking
you coming
lots?
from LA, so
Yeah.
yeah.
You get me.
It is a flat area. I'll be honest.
Yes, the highest thing in the entire city is an overpass. Like when you go from one freeway to the other, that's when you get the view.
Do you hike up there?
Yeah,
So I'm just trying to
there's
get
a little
a
rest
trying to
stop,
get
pitch a
elevation.
tent. Thanks for the call, JD. Appreciate you.
Good talking to you guys.
You got it. JD is awesome. He should call more. He's from where my grandpa, or at least close enough to where my grandpa grew up. NFL picks against the spread coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. Is your vehicle due for service? If it is, you know where to go. Your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. For over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you, which means you don't have to drag your kids into that dirty, weird waiting room with that terrible coffee. Not at Valvoline. You stay in your car nice and safe, nice and relaxed, while your expert technicians make sure that your ride is at its best. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. There are over 80 locations ready to help you get your ride ready for the road in no time. So visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
You never have to miss a moment of
All right, week 7 of the NFL season is here. We are making our picks with both confidence points and against the spread. Here are the standings through the first 6 weeks of the season. Jorge has a lead, 37 points. I am right behind him at 35. Emily is right behind me at 32. And Slee almost on the verge of breaking into the 30s at 29. So one good week, and Slee's right back at the top. I will go first. It's my turn to lead off here. We'll start, as we always do, with the Rams. Steelers in town taking on the Los Angeles Rams, who are 3-point favorites at home. I think this game is very close. I don't think either team is able to really put another team away like this. So I think that number may be the difference, that the Rams can win but not cover. So I'm going to take the Rams, but I'm putting them in the number 1 spot. Sliwa.
All right. I guess I just have less faith in the Rams. I don't like the game. The spread is perfect. I like defense. I'm going to take Steelers with my number 2.
Steelers at 2. Em, you're not going to pick against your Steelers, are you?
Yin's guys know that I'm going to take the Steelers. Going to get some Permanente Brothers. I'm going to weigh those terrible towels.
What's that beer they drink? Iron City?
There's Iron City Brewery.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick the Steelers. Go Steelers, and at 3.
Pittsburgh at 3. Jorge, the Niners are your 4. What else?
My Niners are my 4, and I feel like the Steelers are going to take this one, so the Steelers will be my John right there. My John.
Which John are you taking?
The Steelers. I said the Steelers.
The Steelers are John. What John do you want to pick
my
him
one.
at?
Sorry.
Right, the one John. That's where he's going along with. All right, game number 2. Jorge's Niners on the road, Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings, who have looked pretty darn terrible all season long. Sliwa, you're first. Minnesota is a 7-point home underdog.
I don't like that spread. Monday Night Football, too. But I have a difficult time with this because it's a 7-point spread on the road. Niners coming off a loss. I'll go Niners with my 3.
Niners with 3. Emily.
Do we have any updates on if McCaffrey and Debo are playing?
I think they're
both questionable.
Oh, both questionable.
Okay.
Questionable usually leads to
game
playing.
time decision.
Yeah.
Yes,
it more often than not leads to them
that's
playing.
literally the difference of our game right here.
So I think that the 49ers are the best team in the NFL by far. I think
agree.
they're going to kick the Vikings' butts. I have my 4 as well.
Emily at 4. Jorge, I'm skipping you.
Enough
Niners
said.
at your 4. All 3 of you have this. I'm going to do it again.
Do it.
The Browns paid off last week.
I actually, now that I'm sitting here, I kind of wish I went a little bit your way on this.
I'm going to take Minnesota. I'm going to put it at 2. So we'll see. Go. Who do they have other than Kirk Cousins? Justin Jefferson's not playing. Yeah. Skol. That's the
Go Jordan Addison, USC alum.
Jordan Addison. That's who I need to have delivered today. Em, you're first. Raiders on the road in Chicago. Chicago 3-point home dog.
I also believe that Justin Fields either is not playing or is questionable to be playing with his dislocated
Probably better without
thumb.
him, right?
Yeah. I don't even know who their quarterback is, their backup quarterback. So I'm going to do – okay. I'm going to do Raiders at my 2.
Raiders at 2. Jorge.
I'll go the opposite. I'll go, you know what, Raiders at my 2 as well. The Bears are just bad.
Raiders at 2.
Bad
I'm
news
up
Bears.
next. So here's where the Raiders, the second you start to believe that the Raiders are something other than terrible, they have a decent record, 3-3, right? It's okay, but they've played the Patriots. They barely beat the Patriots last week by 4 points. The Patriots could very likely be the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, I got Packers and Patriots their last 2 wins.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the Raiders. I don't love it, but I'm going to put it at 3 because that's one of the 2 spots I have left. Sleep.
This probably has never happened before and will never happen again. Taking a Raiders with the number 4 that you have, which makes no sense to me.
Am I writing it down at 4?
But I'm putting Raiders at 4 because I can't use my 4 for Utah USC.
Yeah,
I can't use it there.
Bad clock management on your part. Me too. All I have is 4 left. Jorge, you're going first. College ranks. Utah at the Coliseum against SC. SC, a 7-point favorite.
I have my 3 left, so I'll take Utah as my 3.
Utah with the 3.
Yeah.
The Trojans, I think I've gotten them wrong every week. Other than the Stanford game where they covered by a million miles, I think I've got them wrong every single week. So I'm going to take Utah at 4. Slee.
I'll go only 1 left. I'm going Utah 1.
Utah at 1. Em, you got a chance to play a little game theory here. Take SC at 1.
Okay, so why I'm interested in not taking USC is because last week was the first time that I feel like I took USC and I got burned.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the spread is big
It
for
is.
USC, and they're going to play a close game. I'm going to go with USC at 1 just because I want to play game theory.
That's right. It's the right pick.
Yeah, it's just 1.
It's 1 point.
Yes.
You lose 1, and if you're right, then I lose 4, Sliwa loses 1, Jorge loses 3. It's a big swing. Big swing. SC better win that game because I really do think that you get caught in that spiral. If you lose by 4 touchdowns to Notre Dame, which they've done, and you've already had a bunch of close calls against bad teams, and another good team comes to town, and Utah's good, and they come in and they beat you in your own backyard, and that would be, by the way, the 3rd consecutive time that Utah has beat SC with Caleb Williams, that's a real problem. And you could almost see the death spiral of that team if that happens. It's a big deal for us.
But we're idiots, Travis. We wouldn't understand. We
well,
can't handle
that's a very
that.
good point. I keep forgetting, as an idiot, I keep forgetting that I'm an idiot.
It's kind of funny. The Utah piece of it, it's not even... They're coming off a loss as bad as it was. If they're trying to... If Lincoln Riley, if you say, hey, what's the goal before the season starts? What do you think USC's goal was before the season started? The goal was... win the Pac-12
Play
championship.
for a national championship.
Win the Pac-12 championship, and then hopefully that's good enough to put you into the national championship. It's all, and all I heard him say after the Notre Dame game was, it's still in our hands. It's still in our hands. We still have an opportunity to do it. That's basically what every week is the rest of the way. Every single week the rest of the way, they're in a must-win situation.
And what I didn't see until just now, but this has been reported by Vinny Bonsignor, is that how I say his name?
Bonsignor.
Jimmy G has been ruled out of Sunday's game against the Bears. It'll be either Aiden O'Connell or Brian Hoyer as quarterback in Chicago. Doesn't really change much.
Yeah, I was going to say that's Jimmy G's one of the few guys that's like, yeah, okay, he's out. All right. And I'm not a Jimmy G hater, but I also don't think that he's that much better than a Hoyer or O'Connell's the rookie. So that's not great, but
I think Brian Hoyer, again, it's with the opponent against the Bears.
I was just going to say, it's a pick against the Bears more so than it is a pick for the Raiders.
Exactly.
Plus, Mark Davis is going to be tired from all his dancing. There's a lot going on right there.
The championship, because what is he an owner in the Aces as well?
He owns the Aces.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, so then he's celebrating the championship.
Did you guys see the final sequence of that game last night?
I didn't.
No.
It wasn't great. There was, I forget, I don't know the players' names, but one of the players had it, passed it to another player, who passed it to a third player, who had a look, right?
This is down 1?
I don't know, but it was a shot that mattered if it goes in. It was an air ball by 4 feet to the right.
Oof.
It wasn't just a missed shot. It was, think Peja Stojakovic, but multiply it by 2.
Can't. It's impossible.
I'll show it to you.
Because then it's a pass.
It was one of those, oh no, that was a shot. It was for a championship game. It was not. It was not a terribly inspiring moment.
But at least Becky Hammond too. She got 2 back-to-back titles.
That's impressive.
You know, she doesn't have the role in the NBA quite yet that she probably wants long term, but she's doing well with the WNBA.
Think that'll happen?
Yeah,
eventually, I think so.
For her,
yes,
I do. I think she will be the first to crack that.
Why are you so sure?
It was already a conversation before, so it wasn't like. There was a time where it was already thought she's coming through Greg Popovich's system, and now she goes to the WNBA and wins 2 championships. She's continuing to churn heads.
I wouldn't be stunned, but somebody's going to have to really kind of be a barrier breaker as an owner.
Trailblazer.
As an owner, like I understand that she's qualified and ready and all these things, but for somebody to just say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hire her. That's going to take a very specific type of owner.
Yeah, because it would be the first woman as a head coach of a professional sports league that's a male professional sports league. So in any area, I think it takes a lot for the guys in the team to trust the woman in charge. But also the thing is that she's played basketball as opposed to some other sports where it might be more difficult for a woman to be in charge of one of those.
Also, it wouldn't hurt if Mark Davis took some of that winning juju and brought it to the Raiders.
Yeah.
And kind of, man, come on, do something just like you
did with the jumpsuit has got some WNBA juice in it. It's gotten a couple of back-to-back titles along the way.
Bring it every Sunday.
Eric Musselman, who I believe is the head coach at Arkansas now, right? So he was an NBA coach for the Golden State Warriors and Sacramento Kings after bouncing around, having different college jobs along the way. And talking with him a little bit at one point, and this I'm getting back to the Becky Hammond thing, whether or not she'll get an opportunity. He did not play in the NBA. His dad was an NBA head coach. He had been a coach. I think he played at USD, a smaller school.
Yeah.
But he was a coach, and he kind of worked his way through it, and he got there. And it was that, how do you develop credibility with guys that are professionals at this when you've never done it. And he said, I've always remembered, he goes, you need to be right. You need to be right. You need to know what you're doing. So when you say, I need you to do this, that it works.
They trust you. Then they're like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about.
The only way to earn their trust is to be right.
Yeah.
And be right a lot right out of the chute so that they have to, okay, I have faith that you know what you're doing. Because if you show up and you're wrong, it's like,
and you don't have
what
that
does this
resume,
guy know?
sure.
What does this guy know? So if she does get it, when she does get it, she needs to be right out of the chute. Not because she's a woman, but because she can play in the league.
The good thing is she wasn't sitting on just any bench.
No.
She was sitting with Greg Popovich. And then
pretty sure they said that about Luke Walton too, with Phil Jackson.
True. But the concept and the idea, you could say that about Steve Kerr. You could say about some other coaches as well. And then she's went to the WNBA and has won 2. That's the first time anybody's ever won back-to-back in the WNBA.
Is that true?
I think so.
Okay.
Actually, no, let me double check that. Let me double check that.
I don't know, because it's been around 20
I was going to say, I thought I saw that, but maybe I'm wrong.
You could be right.
Very well. Actually, Houston may have early on, if you remember.
Got me.
I'll double check.
I don't know. The Dump coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. 1-800-9-million. That's the number. 1-800-9-million. That's the number. You know what it's for if you're hurt in an accident. That's the number for Sweet James. 1-800-9-million. 1-800-900-0000. When you call Sweet James, you're not just getting somebody that does this. You're getting the best person that does this. Think about it like this. There's the league, and then there's all-stars. And then beyond the all-stars, there's MVPs. And that's what Sweet James is. We're talking megastar. High skills, high results. If you're hurt in an accident, the insurance company, quite frankly, they don't care. They just want to get it done. They just want to move on to the next one. Sweet James is going to make sure that settlement is right. Not what they think is right, what you deserve, right? That's what they do over and over again. The insurance companies know that as well. So they're going to make sure that you get what you do. And if it doesn't work out like that, guess what? They go to trial and they win 98% of the time. They can get that settlement for you, and if not, they're going to go to trial and they're going to win. 98% success rate. So if you're hurt in an accident, call the attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-million and sweetjames.com.
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app and bam!
Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
What's up, Niner fans? Join me, producer Jorge, at Hollywood Park Casino Monday night at 5 p.m. for Monday Night Football as our Niners take on the Vikings, and you'll get 3 shots to win $1 million on our $1 Million Monday contest. And just bring your ponchos, bring your flags, bring all your swag, and let's go, baby! Niners, Niner gang, baby!
Slee, let me start right here.
Can I start with one thing?
Sure.
I was way off on the WNBA back-to-back championship.
Yeah.
The Comets, Houston Comets, they won multiple times.
Okay.
I think they started out winning 4. The Los Angeles Sparks, they won back-to-back. And now it looks like the Las Vegas Aces.
But it was 20 years between.
So they are not the first team to go back-to-back.
They're the first time the Aces have gone back-to-back.
First time the Aces have gone back-to-back, yes.
One thing, so I've been listening to the Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce podcast, The New Heights, and they have this one segment that they call the LeBron stat of the day. And it's saying, like, something hasn't happened in these like very specific things. So it's like he's the first guy to have this many completions in the first 5 games of his career in December. Like it's very like specific things, and they just make fun of the stats that are thrown out there. So that's how I feel about that one.
Question for you: What, New Heights is the name of the pod?
Yes.
Did you listen to it prior to his relationship with Taylor Swift?
Nope.
Really?
But honestly, I have been listening, and they have a good podcast.
They're both entertaining guys.
Yeah, they are entertaining.
And they talk about the league in a way that I haven't heard it talked about before. It's probably the best player podcast that I've listened to.
Why are you listening to the podcast?
I listened to the podcast because the first time I wanted to hear what he had to say about his relationship with her and if he was going to say anything at all. And then since then, it's once a week.
Okay.
And I am interested to see how they talk about their games because both their teams are doing so well.
Yep.
So I like that.
The reason I ask, and I'm glad that you said that that's the reason you went in. You are an unusual hybrid of somebody that is a really hardcore Taylor Swift fan,
NFL fan,
and you love football too.
Yeah.
Like I wonder how many people that did what you did. Like I'm going to go check this out because I want to hear about Taylor Swift, and they realize there's either very little or none of that in there. Stuck around.
Mm-hmm. It's like they know that's why they're the #1 sports podcast right now, and so like they do talk about it to satisfy that fan base. But I think that they have good segments. They have this one segment where they call it they questions essentially from the audience. They tweet at them, and a lot of them are like Swiftie handles. So it'll be like Invisible String 1 2 3 is the name of a title of our songs, and to ask you about about like what is a safety, and like it's very funny because they will ask people might be introduced to football, don't know what's happening, and I like to hear them answer it because they're not condescending at all. They're very much like I'm glad you're watching, and then answer the question.
Do we know from like 2 months ago to today? I wonder what the downloads are compared
insane.
to 2 months ago.
Oh, it's got to be a factor of thousands.
But I don't know. But
and
I don't know.
I don't know how percentage more.
I don't know how sustainable.
It's not
because of what you just said. That somebody who came on that's not an NFL fan said, "Well, she's dating Kelce."
But there's also the people like me that are going to go back, and it's also once a week. But they are the #1 sports podcast right now for a reason, and that reason is
who are the 2 Eagles that were at the Phillies game?
It's DeAndre Swift and Terrell Edmonds.
Okay, so there's a little bit of that, right? Where they go to, and we were enjoying listening to those guys because they were so enthusiastic. Like, what do you mean they're changing pitchers again? How many games are these? And it's genuine. I wonder if there's not an element of what you're talking about, Em, where there are people like, explain a safety to me. It's not like, what's this? It's like, I really don't know what that is. I'd like to know.
Yeah.
And if they can give an entertaining answer, maybe they do grab some people along the way.
Sure.
And, Jason's wife and his story is really funny, and it's fun to hear the brothers talk smack
Who's more
to each
entertaining?
Other. I think Jason's more entertaining. I think that Travis is not entertaining. I just think that Jason's really funny to me.
Also, did you did you see? They're holding hands now. Yay!
Oh, I did see that. I saw, when you're flipping through your news feed on your phone, it's like that. I don't know what the publication was, but they were all over each other at a restaurant. I'm like, yeah, great. Good for them.
They're dating. They're acting like adults. So,
holding hands. Oh, man, so cute.
Wow.
Okay, holding. I still hold Susan's hand when we go for a walk.
Sure.
I do it all the time, but I cannot tell you the last time we were, quote, all over each other in a public space. That's been
you haven't been newly dating
but
since
even
in like,
we were
what,
newly
1,000 years?
Yeah, it's been about that. It's been about that. But that public PDA, that's
I'm with you on
a
that.
few months, tops.
I'm with you on
tops.
that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. If they're still all over each other at Christmas, then maybe they've found true love.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Travis bought a new house in Kansas City because it has more security and it's more that because they've been getting paparazzi'd a lot in Kansas City by the 3 paparazzi that are there, but that he bought a new house.
I'm sure all the paparazzi's coming out there.
I wonder if he's got a golf hole in his house like Patrick Mahomes.
He actually has it has mini golf, has a pool, has a bunch of other stuff.
Mini golf, like a putting green is baller, don't get me wrong. That's really, but Patrick Mahomes has a golf hole in his backyard, like a par 5.
They were joking in the podcast that Pat Mahomes needs a roller coaster in his backyard too. And
it's about the only thing that he doesn't have, right? That there's everything else. Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, he mentioned in a recent press conference one of his ambitions, saying, and here's the quote: "Until I own an NFL team, I'm not planning to stop." He went on to talk about the ownership challenges, but they make it pretty tough to get to that spot. They make it incredibly tough because let's say Patrick Mahomes is the career trajectory that he's been on continues, and he ends up playing in 7 or 8 Super Bowls, and he ends up winning 4 or 5 of them, right? And that's kind of the way it looks like it's going to go.
Yeah.
By the time he's done with State Farm and whatever else he pitches, he's probably got $1 billion in the bank. Okay, now you're going to need to go make 40 more billion to buy an NFL team or whatever the number is, because as rich as he's going to be, he's not NFL owner rich. Does he go in like Magic as like a consortium of guys that buy this team?
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how these guys will become owners. I don't know if LeBron will be different.
He might be. He might be the one.
LeBron might be, but it's also not the NFL. So to buy, but
it's still billions.
It's still billions of dollars. But the way Patrick Mahomes can check that box off of being an owner is he's a 5% owner in the team, a 10% stake in the team. That's still A, a lot of money.
For sure.
And B, I'm sure there's another ownership group out there that says, I'd be interested in doing something with Patrick Mahomes.
Here's a piece.
That's exactly.
And the financial play makes perfect sense to me, right?
It's more just the face of it, and
But let's say you get like a 0.5%. You're still making a fortune on these teams, right? But the idea when I hear owner, like I want to make a decision. I want to. We're going to fire that coach or not? I want to be in on that meeting. Who are we going to draft?
Yeah.
I want to be in on that meeting. Which free agents are we looking at? I want to be in on that meeting. What level of ownership do you have to be in on that meeting? Any? If you have 0.5%, 1%, do you get in on that ownership meeting?
I don't know.
I think it depends on like your again, the face of the franchise.
Okay,
I think if it's Patrick Mahomes, and if he even had 1%, he might be involved. Or it might be something like John Elway, where he is a consultant at a high level for a long time. Jordan
is, obviously when he had his own. I know he's in the process of selling or whatever it is. Do you remember when Jay-Z was He had a stake in the Brooklyn Nets?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what percentage?
It was
he had?
less than 1%.
It was 0.15.
Right.
So you're right. Like ultimately at the end of the day, but he looked like he was the face of it. He was from Brooklyn. Like there was a lot that you could do with it.
That's cool.
But I'm giving you the smallest stake possible.
When I decide whether or not I'm going to trade all of my players for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, I want to be in on that meeting.
Sure.
Like that's the part. Like, cool, I'm on the letterhead of ownership. But when they get ready to make the decisions, do they even bother to call me?
Yeah.
That's the part that I'm curious in because I want to be in on that. Mm-hmm. That's the part that's good. DK Metcalf says, quote, "I'm not going to change the way I play," when they asked him whether or not he's going to stop cheap-shotting guys that are trying to defend him. DK Metcalf is known for a couple of things.
Yep.
His incredible physique. He's like just big and strong and fast. That he eats pounds of candy for his meals. And that he takes incredibly stupid penalties. What's the point of pride in, hey, you know what I do? I'm the guy that takes a bunch of bad penalties. Why is he flexing on that?
Yeah, and I don't understand the reason of doubling down. Look, I got to be smarter. I'm hurting my team in the process. I'm just going to be smarter. Is that all you have to say? Is that all you kind of really have to say?
Or look, I'm going to try to do better, but I play with a great deal of emotion. Like I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
That seems like a bad plan. Evander Holyfield turned 61 years old today. It's still the greatest moment I've ever seen with my own two eyes, Mace.
1 year Evander.
1 year Evander. I was there for that one too. That first fight against Mike Tyson.
Yes.
I was from where I'm sitting right now to say the refrigerator in our kitchen.
Oh, wow.
That's how close I was to the ringside.
That's really cool.
Mike does that thing. Ding, 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 right? Here, fight starts. Mike rushes across the ring. Whap, 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 whap.
Yep.
Hit him with like a 5 or a 6 point punch combination.
Yep.
And Evander goes, doesn't take a step back. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And you could feel Mike Tyson go, oh, God, I got to fight this guy. It was the most impressive display of toughness I've ever seen from one guy in my life. Just, it's happening now.
It's definitely one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in following sports over the years. I mean, I remember exactly where I was.
Yeah.
Exactly what I said when it
The
happened.
knockout or the ear bite?
The ear bite.
Okay.
The ear bite was like
Yeah.
the weirdest thing
Yeah.
I've ever seen. I couldn't even imagine that would happen.
I want to say he was in the ring when the fan man came crashing in on that paraglider.
Oh, I think that
was a
might have been
Holyfield.
it,
I know
yeah.
Riddick Bowe was in. I think it was Bo Holyfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
right. He's had some moments. You know what we should do right now?
What?
We should do some Super Crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
So, Ireland, are you there?
I'm here. I don't know how good my hookup's going to be, but I'm here for now.
Okay, you sound pretty good right now. So before the hookup goes bad, Slee just left because he's on his way out to Palm Springs right now. What is he in for? How deep into Palm Desert does he need to get to?
He's coming to the game?
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to the game.
He just left so he can get there. Is he going to make it?
It's going to be close. I left yesterday at the worst possible time. I left right at 3 o'clock, and I pulled in here at 6:10.
Okay, over 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's the wrong.
But that's through the heart of afternoon drive traffic.
Yeah, you left it exact. If I could pinpoint the worst possible time to
3
leave to
o'clock.
go to Palm Springs, that would be it. Now, Slee, I think, should be there by 3:15.
Oh, I don't know, Ace.
3:50. There's not a lot of traffic.
I'm going to give him 4 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. That should work.
Because the arena is like on the far eastern end of the valley,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's like another hour past Palm Springs. Like Palm Springs is the first spot
But
you
we're
get
in
to.
this weird. Like the reason I came out last night is, as anyone who listens to the station knows, we've been taken over by Russians. Technically,
Technically,
any
yes.
problem that can go wrong does go wrong. So this show is very touch and go today, and I'm glad Slee stayed there because who knows what happens when you get here. And it's funny because when you call ahead to these hotels, like I called ahead to this one 2 weeks ago, and I said, hey, can I plug an Ethernet cord right into the wall in my room? They said, yeah, absolutely. So I get here last night, plug the Ethernet cord into the wall. It's dead. And I call and
Didn't
I go,
ask if it worked.
"Hey,
You just asked if you could plug it in.
Yeah, you didn't ask if it was going to work.
Right, exactly. The IT guy goes, active for 6 years. And I went,
Oh,
okay, good to
God.
know. So we'll see how it goes today.
Well, that last little minute was mediocre. What's
it's
Plan B, Mace?
Plan B is Mason.
Okay, the Mason show.
I think that's
I have
Plan
a
B.
feeling it'll be the Mason show by 1:30.
Yeah. So they did a draft today of Leonardo DiCaprio movies in honor of Killers of the Flower Moon, which is coming out tonight.
Tonight. Emily's going to go see it tonight. So we
Oh.
drafted, she's getting the 6 o'clock showing, so she should be home somewhere around 3 or 4 a.m.
Right, it's 3.5 hours long.
It's a long movie. All right, so here are the draft lists.
Okay.
Jorge took The Revenant.
Oh, yeah.
Inception.
Oh.
Gangs of New York.
Really, really strong.
Okay. Slee, The Departed.
Ugh.
Django.
Yeah.
And What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oscar nominee for that. Yep, it's good.
M, Wolf of Wall Street.
Love it.
Titanic. Right.
Yep.
Shutter Island.
Hooray! I'm glad somebody put Shutter Island on
That
the list.
good?
Oh, it's such a good movie.
If Emily would have put Catch Me If You Can third, I would have picked Emily outright.
Okay.
Did anybody take Catch Me If You Can?
Here's my list. Blood Diamond.
Yep.
Catch Me If You Can. Mm-hmm. And Growing Pains.
And Growing Pains, of course.
Because he was on the final
His
season
debut.
of Growing Pains.
Yes, he
That's
was.
right. Who wins?
I think Emily wins on the basis of, for me, my like most underrated Leo movie is Shutter Island. So
Why is it that good? Give me a 2-minute explanation.
Super cool, flips the story, super cool twist.
What's the
in
plot?
It.
I don't even know the plot.
He's playing like multiple characters essentially. Like you see different versions of him because of what the plot twist is. But essentially, he is a reporter, policeman.
Policeman looking for
someone on Shutter Island.
Yes,
and
on
Shutter Island is a like psych ward island.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's there investigating.
And he has dark things in his past.
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo is his partner.
Yes.
That sounds good.
And if you drop a gummy for this one, it's even better.
Ooh,
really?
yeah.
Oh, it's a really good stoner movie.
John, you're a Catch Me If You Can guy?
Loved it. Yeah, thought it was great.
Whose list do you like the most?
Emily's, for sure.
Yeah, even with Shutter Island.
I didn't see Shutter Island, but yeah, her first two are really good.
I like Wolf of Wall Street, Leo, which is really fun versus climb inside a dead bear, Leo, in Revenant.
Well, that Revenant was really good.
It was
and
great.
I'm glad I saw it.
And I'm glad he won.
I don't think I ever need to see it again.
No, I will never go back and watch The Revenant again. Yeah, that's a really good point.
It's a lot.
But if I see Wolf of Wall Street, I'm
stop.
like, sign me up for that. Yeah. That's when I was first introduced to Margot Robbie, who's unbelievable in that movie.
Okay, I'll go back to old school TV again. Not old school like Growing Pains. Margot Robbie was in a TV show called Pan Am.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know this show.
Oh, so it was, I don't know, Emma, was that show 15 years
like
ago?
2012 or 13.
Yeah, it's an older show where they play Pan Am flight attendants in the 60s. Mm-hmm. But when
flying was cool.
When flying was glamorous,
yeah.
right? But one of them or all of them become spies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
It's a terrible TV show,
Yeah.
but she's in it.
Was that her big debut?
Christina Ricci was in it, who I really
nice.
liked.
Yeah.
And then there was another, there's a guy in it that was famous too. I didn't. Anyway.
Yeah.
Now, are you planning to, if I walk in here, or if Emily walks in here tomorrow and says Killers of the Flower Moon is the best movie I've ever seen, would you go see it knowing that it's 3.5 hours long?
No, I would see it, but I wouldn't go to see it.
Wouldn't go to see it.
That's a movie that if you came in and said, it's the best Scorsese I've ever seen, it's the ultimate DiCaprio performance, De Niro's amazing in it, I would say, that's awesome. When is it on Netflix?
Yeah. When The Irishman came out, remember The Irishman was
bad, man.
3 hours plus. We watched it in watched it like a limited series. Like watch an hour, then watch another hour
Did
the
you
next
like
day.
that?
And watch. I saw the whole thing in a theater, and then we did the miniseries thing. I liked The Irishman. I didn't love The Irishman.
I thought it was
liked
bad.
The Irishman.
Where are you on The Irishman,
I thought the
John?
de-aging thing didn't work for me.
It didn't at all.
Yeah, it didn't work for me. I watched it. I sat through it. Thought it was just okay.
Yeah, I can't do a 3.5 hour movie is like an hour
Long
and a
ass
half.
time,
It's
man.
an hour and a half. If it were
I'm with Trav.
2.5, okay. If you came and said best thing I've ever seen in my life, 2.5, I'll go. 3. It's too long by double.
I'm going Saturday morning.
Okay.
Yeah, like the very first show Saturday morning when I'm awake. And
What's
after a few shots of espresso.
What's the drop dead point on that? Like noon? If you're not taking it at 3 o'clock.
Well, there's a USC game on Saturday, so I got to get in super early.
Did you hear what Greg McElroy said about SC?
No.
I'm going to play this for you guys. He thinks that this is what you're getting ready to see on Saturday.
But I had said last week on the show, USC might be a 7-5 football team without Caleb Williams. Well, USC might be a 7-5 football team with Caleb Williams. That's the scary thing when you look at what's left on the schedule. There's only one game that's a complete slam dunk, and that's at Cal. And I don't even know if that's a complete slam dunk.
They can't be 7-5. They can lose a handful of games, but 5?
The overreaction from this game on Saturday is just crazy. They went from national championship contender to the bottom of the barrel.
Okay, let me push back on that because they were in the national championship mix, but watching the first, was it 6 games? Are they 6-1 or 7-1 right now?
6-1.
6-1. But the first 6, like, okay, you're 6-0, but come on, man, that looked like crap. That looked like crap. That looked like crap. Now they finally played a team that's pretty good, and they lost by 4 touchdowns. It doesn't feel like an overreaction.
Although I don't think we're ever going to see another Caleb Williams 3 interception setting up 3 touchdown kind of game.
But that's not the only reason they are playing games like this.
But that game, the Notre Dame game, is on Caleb Williams.
5 losses, Ireland?
He thinks, don't you think 4?
I think they're going to lose at least 2 more of their games. I think they're going to lose 2 of their next 4.
What's the future?
So, let's see.
Let's split the difference. Let's say they finish with 3 losses.
Yeah.
Let's say Caleb Williams leaves.
Yeah.
You're going into the Big Ten Oregon, Washington, and UCLA are coming with you.
Right.
Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Wisconsin.
By the way, there are only if you look, there are only 3 ranked teams in the Big Ten.
Right.
There are only 3 ranked teams.
But that kind of goes around. There's always going to be the 3 ranked teams they have are all near the top. They're all in the top 10. So there's always going to be that second group. You're bringing 2 top 10 teams with you into the conference. Caleb Williams is gone.
Sure.
What does that look like?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think they're going from a really tough conference to an easier conference.
But they're bringing the part that the tough part is coming with them.
Yeah, and I don't know who's on. We actually pulled up their schedule. I don't know if they've got Oregon or not.
Next year
is a terrible schedule for USC.
As far as opponents?
Non-conference?
Yes.
It's ridiculous. They open with LSU. They have Notre Dame. That's 2 of their 3 non-conference games.
Michigan, they weren't playing Notre Dame.
No, Bergman just showed me the schedule today. They are playing Notre Dame last weekend of the season.
But it's not just that they're going into the other conference. They're going into it without the best quarterback they've had in a very long time.
If there's one thing USC does well is they mint quarterbacks. This is an elite one. They've got 2 waiting to go. There'll be a competition this summer, and we'll see. But I'm not really ready to sail on this USC season.
Really?
I'm not. I think they win on Saturday. I don't know what Greg McElroy said. They're going to win. They're going to win on Saturday.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but if they lose on Saturday, I think that the spiral starts for real.
It definitely could.
Yeah.
It definitely could.
John, what about you as a Bruin with your team going to the Big Ten? Does that move? Do you care? Do you not? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What?
I wish they weren't. I think it's terrible that the Pac-12 broke up. But, Larry Scott and George Klevikoff were like the Keystone Cops bumping into each other and being arrogant and stupid, and they blew up the whole conference. So, I mean, what are you going to do? It was incompetence at its highest form. I think USC and UCLA just took the money. Because they realize we are in a conference that's being run by morons, and they're going to run us into the ground.
They should put that on the letterhead.
Now it's been proven. I mean, the only thing left of the conference is Washington State and Oregon State. And, why they kept Larry Scott for as long as they did and why they replaced him with the guy they did is going to be – there'll be books written about this.
You wonder if they
blew up a multi-billion-dollar conference.
If there's an escape hatch, right, that they go. Oregon, Washington, SC, UCLA, they go. And it just never really connects. That they're middle of the pack, whatever it is, and they all look at each other and say, hey, let's reboot the Pac-12 all over again.
My God, you're already, 6, 7, 8 years down the road?
Well, yeah. Honestly, and that would probably be a little too fast, right? But what about 10 years? What about 12 years? Where it's just, this isn't working. The travel for all of our sports other than football and basketball is a gigantic mess. We're not competing. Yeah, we've got some money, but we got a deal from ESPN or Fox or Apple or whoever. Right. They're willing to reboot this Pac-12. Sure. We can come home again.
I suppose that's possible. I mean, I personally think the Big Ten thing is going to work great.
Really?
I do. I think it's going to be great.
For all of the sports or just for football?
For the lesser sports, it's going to be more difficult. There's going to be more travel, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of football, I think the idea that the Pac-12 is going, these 4 teams from the Pac-12 are going to go to the Big Ten and get crushed is ridiculous.
I don't think they're going to go get crushed.
Indiana and Maryland and Wisconsin and Minnesota and I mean there are. It's really a 3-team conference.
Yeah, I don't know. No.
It's Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn
Michigan State and Minnesota and some of these other Purdue. They're not good, but
which is a better conference this year?
This year it's the Pac-12, but that's the first time that's been true in like 20 years.
Right. But they're actually going to get – here's the problem. The problem, I think, and I don't know why they did it, if you look at – Michigan plays the easiest schedule in the country. Statistically, the easiest schedule.
So far or right now?
Their entire season is statistically the easiest schedule in the country. So they get like East Carolina,
but that's
Green.
1 year. And you don't really think that Michigan's skating by on an easy schedule, do you?
They are. They have the easiest. Penn State and Michigan have the 2 easiest schedules in the country.
But those 2 things can be true at the same time. They can have an easy schedule and still be really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, if you send scouts in advance and you videotape all the signs and you know exactly what's coming.
You've bought in already. You got the scouts.
I absolutely buy in. No, let's send the scouts. Let's videotape the signs.
Supercross is brought to you by In-N-Out Burger.
Harbaugh.
In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger's all about. The Mason Show probably coming up next.
Individual